Chapter 289. All the people looked at Ning Cheng in a daze. They had seen many shameless people, but they had never seen such a shameless person. Exchanging a stalk of Blood River Red Lotus for a soul-condensing pill, this was already a huge bargain, but this fellow actually wanted someone else to give him a pill for his soul essence cultivation. This was no longer a matter of thick skin. This was the rhythm of shamelessness. Ning Cheng could also feel the warmth on his face, although he knew that this Taoist priestess should give him a few more pills, but he also knew that he should not be in such a hurry. At the same time, Ning Cheng also knew that he had to urge this Taoist priestess to give him some pills. After he obtained the pill, he would immediately leave and look for a place to advance to the essence soul realm. This kind of matter could not be sloppy. If he waited for him to slowly buy the pills, it would take too long. As for what would happen during this process, he wasn't sure. He was not afraid. Even if the Red Star Sword faction wanted to deal with him, he could still go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to seek shelter. It was just that he really didn't want to waste time on such a boring thing. Once his cultivation was high enough, everything else would just be fleeting clouds. Besides, in this place, Ning Cheng had seen a lot of people biting the hand that fed them. He didn't have any psychological burden asking this Taoist priestess for spirit cultivation pills, it was just that he wasn't used to this practice. Sure, I still have a bottle of Azure Soul pills here, I'll give it to you as well. What made everyone surprised was that this white-robed Taoist priestess unexpectedly agreed to Ning Cheng's words, as she took out a jade bottle and handed it to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng did not think that things would be so simple. He originally wanted to give it a try. If it really did not work, then he would just forget about it. He would immediately pack up his things and turn to leave. At this moment, even the rest of the cultivators in the exchange hall also discovered that something was wrong. Whether it was the true inheriting disciples of the Floating Snow Palace, or the true inheriting disciples of the Severing Emotions Tao sect, all of them had a very strong tolerance towards this little profound core 8th level cultivator. Thank you, Senior Martial Sister. You will be forever young and live for 100 years. Goodbye, we will meet again someday. Ning Cheng put away the pill, turned around and walked away, without even half a word. The white-robed Taoist priestess suddenly gave a faint smile. I am already a cultivator at the Great Circle of the Soul Essence realm, and if I take another step forward, I would be able to advance to the soul sculpting realm. As such, my lifespan is not limited to just 100 years. Are you congratulating me or mocking me? Ning Cheng was suddenly at a loss for words. He did not think that he would be choked by a Taoist priestess. He came from Earth, so he was used to thinking that wishing others eternal youth and longevity was a compliment. But in this place, it was too easy to stay young forever. 100 years old was a short-lived ghost. Well then, I wish you a long, 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 long life. Goodbye. Ning Cheng could not wait to leave again. Are we going for coffee now? The beautiful yellow-robed female cultivator, who had been waiting for Ning Cheng, suddenly appeared in front of Ning Cheng again. Ning Cheng rubbed his head and said, "Little girl, today I have something urgent to do, next time I will call you to drink coffee. Anything is fine, white wine, rice vinegar, soy sauce, cola, Sprite, waha, but not today. Goodbye. Are you afraid that the people from the Red Star Sword faction will find you, so you want to find a place to advance to the Soul Essence realm first?" This yellow-robed female cultivator suddenly spoke up. How did you know? You're too smart. I was threatened a moment ago, and was indeed a bit worried, so I wanted to find a place to improve my cultivation. Ning Cheng gave out a helpless cry, as he spoke a few words of nonsense. He really wanted to find a place to advance to the Soul Essence realm, but if the Red Star Sword faction wanted to openly deal with him, it would be impossible. With his twin wings of the heavenly fate and the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel, even a crucible transformation cultivator might not necessarily be able to catch up to him. The yellow-robed female cultivator spoke indifferently. It's useless. If you go out now, you will definitely be targeted by others. Even if you have a good method, it would still be difficult to escape. However, if you come with me to drink coffee, then it would not be a problem. Ning Cheng was very disdainful. Even if he had a good method, it would still be difficult to escape. He did not believe that a crucible transformation cultivator would be able to enter the chaotic star space. In other words, without a woman like you, I would not be able to go out. Today I will go out, and will not invite you to drink coffee. What can you do about it? Ning Qing spoke with disdain. This woman was together with Jiang Jun, this kind of scum, and always spoke with a nonchalant appearance, which made Ning Qing feel very uncomfortable. She is the Floating Snow Palace's Yin Kong Chan, the premier disciple of the Floating Snow Palace. It's not that she can't advance, it's that she doesn't want to advance for now. Su Yingde, you are also not bad. Since you have not advanced to the soul sculpting realm, I guess that you still have not severed your emotions, and want to harm others. In any case, this is the usual method of your severing emotions Dao sect. Yin Kongchan spoke out in a similarly cold voice. Ning Qing suddenly felt a bit more clear in his heart. Elder Bei had left behind a jade strip for him, saying that the severing emotions Dao sect and the Floating Snow Palace had come to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to propose marriage to him. Could it be these two women? If it was these two women, then Ning Qing would have completely understood why these two women had zero tolerance towards him a moment ago. But what did he have that made these two women take a liking to him? Ning Qing absolutely did not believe that these two women really took a fancy to him. If severing emotions Dao sect Su Yingde wanted to sever her emotions, then what kind of person could she not sever from? Why did they have to find him? Seeing that there were so many men and women around her, it was really too easy to choose. There was also that Yin Kongchan. Ning Qing did not believe that this woman would not be able to get married. Did she not see Jiang Jun sticking to her like a dog's skin plaster? I know who he is Ning Qing, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's Ning Qing. More than half a year ago, he had saved more than 100 core disciples from the major academies in the ancient immortal cave. After Ning Qing heard this voice, he knew that he had already been recognized. Ning Qing was not worried about being recognized by others. If they recognized him, then they would have to be even more scrupulous in dealing with him. Not to mention that he had not changed his appearance, and had already planned to seek shelter from the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. No wonder he is so powerful. I heard that he was not even afraid of the life essence of the ancient immortal cave. What is this? Did you not hear him cursing at the Red Star Sword faction's crucible transformation Elder Tang? This voice only spoke half of it, and did not continue the rest of the words, presumably because they knew that there was a disciple from the Red Star Sword faction here. Ning Qing on hearing this, simply cupped his fists and spoke, "Friends, that's right, I am Ning Qing. Now that everyone knows who I am, then I would like to make a business deal with everyone here today. I still have a small bucket of spiritual enhancement true nectar on me. Initially I had to use half a scoop to wash my hands, which made me feel very distressed. Of course, the reason why I used the spiritual enhancement true nectar to wash my hands is also well known to everyone, as such I will not say anything more about it. In addition to the spiritual enhancement true nectar, I also have a 9-colored mirage stone, which I had obtained by chance." After Ning Qing was recognized, he simply revealed the things he had on him. When these cultivators heard Ning Qing reveal his things, they immediately held their breaths. The rumors were indeed true. Ning Qing not only had the spiritual enhancement true nectar, but also a 9-colored mirage stone. "But, I am timid, and my cultivation is low. Putting such good things on me always makes me feel somewhat scared. There are some academies who would think of a way to cheat me of my things through a variety of means. Moreover, I am quite an honest person. In case I end up being cheated, then I would definitely regret it to death. Today, I will take this opportunity to exchange these two things, whether it is spirit stones or magical weapons, or even heavenly materials and earthly treasures. As long as it can satisfy me, I will exchange it." Saying that, Ning Qing directly took out a jade barrel, and placed it on top of his booth, and then took out a jade box and placed it on top of his booth. Since he had been recognized, sooner or later he would have to leave this place and find a place to cultivate. It would be better to earn some spirit stones before leaving this place. If he sold all the things on him, then wouldn't the Severing Emotions Dao sect and the Floating Snow Palace have already given up on him? "So you are senior apprentice brother Ning, that's great. Zhang Qian spoke with a surprised look on his face, while simultaneously preparing to help Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's jade barrel did not have any restrictions, nor did it have a lid. All the people could clearly see it at a glance, that the jade barrel contained the spiritual enhancement true nectar. Regardless of whether Ning Cheng's mirage stone was real or not, with so much spiritual enhancement true nectar being sold at once, the price would definitely not be too high. Senior apprentice brother Ning, what is the price of this spiritual enhancement true nectar? Elder brother Ning, the cultivators here could not afford to buy a mirage stone, but if the spiritual enhancement true nectar was not for the spiritual mist pill, and only for spirit stones, then everyone would be able to afford it. Everyone, a drop of spiritual enhancement true nectar costs 20,000 spirit stones, the price of the mirage stone can be negotiated. If you want a lot of spiritual enhancement true nectar, then you can only barter for it. As soon as Ning Cheng's price came out, it immediately caused a sensation, as anyone could afford this price. Among the cultivators who could come here, who did not have hundreds of thousands or even millions of spirit stones on them. I want 50 drops. I want 30 drops. In just a short period of time, Ning Cheng's booth had gone crazy, regardless of their origin, all of them wanted to buy the spiritual enhancement true nectar. Such a cheap thing, if they missed it this time, then where else would they be able to buy it? Even Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde could not help but buy 50 drops each. Ning Cheng's barrel was not small, but even so, his half-barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar was quickly sold out. This half-barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar gave him an additional 80 million spirit stones. In fact, Ning Cheng knew that this price was even cheaper than the price he sold it at the Heavenly Stars auction house, but who made him have so many of these things? Elder brother Ning, I just received a request from the Academy. They are willing to pay 200 million spirit stones, plus 4 high-quality soul condensing pills, to buy your half-barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar. An eager voice sounded out, and at this time, Ning Cheng's half-barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar had just been sold out. Such a high price. Ning Cheng's face showed an extremely shocked and regretful expression. Oh, I sold it too cheaply. Unfortunately, why didn't you say so earlier? Now I estimate that the amount of spiritual enhancement true nectar in my hands is the least among all the cultivators here. It's a pity that I died. Ning Cheng sighed, and then cupped his fists and spoke, friends, because I sold the spiritual enhancement true nectar to you at the lowest price, I ended up missing an opportunity to make a fortune. Everyone must remember this. These cultivators had all obtained Ning Cheng's spiritual enhancement true nectar, and all smiled in agreement with Ning Cheng. Only the cultivator who offered 200 million spirit stones showed a disappointed look in his eyes. Ning Cheng knew that the other party's disappointment was not really because he did not manage to buy half a barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar, but because he really did not have any spiritual enhancement true nectar on him. Chapter 290. No one made an offer for the mirage stones, which was within Ning Cheng's expectations. Although everyone wanted a 9-colored mirage stone, but they all knew that it was a hot potato. Moreover, it was difficult to name a price because this thing did not have a clear price tag. Ning Cheng felt very satisfied as he put away his things, as he patted Zhang Qian's shoulder and spoke, Junior apprentice brother Zhang, I'll be leaving now. Let's meet again in the academy. Originally Ning Cheng wanted to ask Zhang Qian to help him greet Elder Bei when he met him, but thinking that Zhang Qian was not qualified to talk to Elder Bei, he simply omitted it. As Ning Cheng walked out of the exchange hall, Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde immediately followed him out. Jiang Jun, who was following Yin Kongchan, unexpectedly did not continue to follow them, which made Ning Cheng feel a bit strange. As Ning Cheng came out of the exchange hall, he immediately sped up, but even if he sped up, Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde, the two of them, were still following closely behind him. Ning Cheng, who was almost out of the Heavenly Dao public square, finally stopped. He looked back at the two female cultivators who were following him and spoke, the two of you, let's not talk in riddles, let's not talk about the reason behind your nonsense. Yin Kongchan, I am going to go into secluded cultivation, you do not have to follow me. If you want to drink coffee, then I will invite you to drink it next time when I have the time. There is also Su Yingde. I saved you once, and you also let me take advantage of you, so we can be considered to be even, and in the future we will have nothing to do with each other. My spiritual enhancement true nectar has already been sold, as such I do not have any extra for your dowry. As for the mirage stones, if you really want them, then you can go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to purchase them. In any case, I can't run away. Now, I'm begging the two of you to find a good family to marry. Can you stop following me? If not for these two women, he would have immediately used the twin wings of the heavenly clouds to escape, and then used the escaping talisman. Now that these two women were following him, he had no way to escape. Yin Kongchan spoke up in a calm voice, now is not the time to discuss this issue. What matters now is how you should deal with the situation in front of you. Yin Kongchan's words had just fallen, when Ning Qing found that there were already several more cultivators surrounding them. Moreover, there were even more cultivators arriving at this place, causing the surrounding space to be completely sealed off. Ning Cheng's complexion immediately changed, as he looked at Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde, and his eyes no longer had that kind of easygoing look from before. Su Yingde seemed to know what Ning Cheng was thinking in his heart, and took the initiative to speak up. Even if we do not follow you, you would not be able to escape far. With Jiang Jun's personality, it would be strange if he let you leave the Heavenly Dao public square unscathed. It's good for you that you're stopped here. Ning Qing did not have much worry in his heart. Killing Ding Liang was a completely normal challenge. If the Red Star Sword faction could use this kind of challenge as a just and honorable reason, then the Heavenly Dao Temple would truly be too weak. But now, Ning Qing felt that something was wrong. More and more cultivators had arrived here. It was as if he was a Class 1 fugitive. Since when did the Red Star Sword faction have such rallying power? You don't have to be surprised, because Ding Liang is in the Tian continent's great meet of the academies, and is ranked in the top 100 in the preliminary round of the Profound Core realm. At this time, if one were to kill any of the cultivators who had passed through the preliminary round, they would inevitably face a detailed investigation by the entire Tian continent's sects. Otherwise, after the preliminary round of the Tian continent's great meet of the sects, there will be chaos. Yin Kongchan's words made Ning Qing sober up. If the academies, in order to get a better ranking, were to specifically assassinate the other party's powerful cultivators, then it would truly be a mess. Ning Qing, last time you saved more than 100 Tian Continent's core and true inheriting disciples. Many of the Tian Continent's academies are very grateful to you. But why did you kill the cultivators who had passed through the preliminary round of my Tian Continent's great meet of the sects? When the voice arrived, Ning Qing felt a powerful imposing aura shrouding him, causing him to be unable to move even a little bit. Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde, who had been following him, at this time seemed to have turned mute. Unexpectedly, not even one of them stood up to speak up for him. Ning Qing cursed in his heart. He could only explain the situation in the exchange hall in detail. Humph, a bunch of nonsense. In the exchange hall of the Heavenly Dao cultivators, even if it was a fight, it would not be as vicious as you. I'm sure that this is the plot of your Rainbow Fall Sword sect, using 10 drops of spiritual enhancement true nectar to anger the profound core disciples of my Red Star Sword faction, and then taking the opportunity to kill the profound core cultivators of my Red Star Sword faction who had passed through the preliminary round. Here are the deacons of the Heavenly Dao Public Square, as well as the friends and fellow Taoists of the various major academies. Such a despicable and shameless method, please tell me how you should deal with it. When Ning Qing saw the cultivator who spoke, he immediately knew that his old enemy had arrived. It was the same Red Star Sword faction's sickly-looking elder Tang Gongxi who had forced him to reveal his secret. At this time, Tang Gongxi's face was filled with murderous intent. While at his side, Jiang Jun was staring sarcastically at him. Kill him, pinch him to death. Tang Gongxi, as a crucible transformation elder of the Red Star Sword faction, immediately received the support of many cultivators in this place. Good, today I will not kill him, I will just take out his golden core to comfort my Red Star Sword faction's cultivator Ding Liang. If we lose Ding Liang, then my Red Star Sword faction's great meat of the Profound Core realm would definitely drop by a large margin. As Tang Gongxi spoke, he had already raised his hand towards Ning Cheng to grab him. Ning Cheng was extremely anxious in his heart. At this time, he simply could not move. Ha! Red Star Sword Faction's Ding Liang was killed. Good kill, good kill. In the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect Station, a Crucible Transformation Elder was laughing. Bei Youfa, who was sitting on one side, gave out a sigh. Alas, although a cultivator from the Red Star Sword faction who passed the preliminary round was killed, but it would not bring much benefit to my Rainbow Fall Sword sect. The overall level of my Rainbow Fall Sword sect's profound core realm cultivators is simply too low. That Crucible Transformation Elder who was laughing disapprovingly spoke, although that is the case, but looking at that Red Star Sword faction's Tang Gongxi's proud appearance, it makes me feel uncomfortable in my heart. I don't know who killed this Ding Liang, but their courage is really fat. This Crucible Transformation Elder had not finished his words, when the communication pearl on the wrist of Deputy Academy Master Tan Tai Fei, who was sitting on the other side, suddenly lit up. Tan Tai Fei's spiritual consciousness fell onto the communication pearl, and his complexion immediately changed as he stood up. What's the matter? Senior apprentice brother Tan Tai. Elder Bei, on seeing the Deputy Academy Master's expression, immediately felt that something was not right. Tan Tai Fei spoke up in a deep voice. The one who was involved in this matter was a disciple of my Rainbow Fall Sword sect. I heard that the one who killed Ding Liang was also a disciple of my Rainbow Fall Sword sect. What? Who? That Crucible Transformation Elder who was laughing also stood up in shock. How could the Rainbow Fall Sword sect have such a disciple? I don't know yet. As Tan Tai Fei spoke, his communication pearl once again lit up. After his spiritual consciousness swept through the communication pearl, he immediately spoke up. It was the inner sect disciple Zhang Qian who was being bullied by Ding Liang in the Cultivator Exchange Hall. The inner sect disciple Ning Cheng, who had just arrived at the Heavenly Dao Public Square, was not convinced and decided to teach Ding Liang a lesson. Finally, on the battle ring of the Exchange Hall, Ning Cheng killed Ding Liang. Now that Ning Cheng is trapped by the Deacon of the Heavenly Dao Public Square and the cultivators from the Red Star Sword faction, he is in a very dangerous situation. Who is this Ning Cheng, to actually be able to beat Ding Liang? Does my Rainbow Fall Sword sect have such a powerful inner sect disciple? Right, I remember, isn't it the last time? That Crucible Transformation cultivator's words were immediately interrupted by Bei Youfa. Elder Ing, me and senior apprentice brother Tan Tai will immediately go and save Ning Cheng. You should quickly go and inform the Academy Master. That Red Star Sword faction's Tang Gongxi and Ning Cheng have a grudge. I'm afraid that he would not care about his old face. At the same time, a bang sound erupted not far away from Ning Cheng. Even if the restrictions around the Heavenly Dao Public Square were extremely strong, the true essence that filled the sky was still able to shake the space around the restrictions. The cultivators with poor cultivation, under this kind of shaking of the restrictions, almost vomited out a mouthful of air. Even the surrounding space, which was locked in place by the impact, started to loosen up. Ning Cheng felt relieved. Unexpectedly someone would help him. This was something that he did not expect. Dao friend who, what is the meaning of this? A cultivator from my Red Star Sword faction was killed in the Heavenly Dao Public Square, yet you still want to help the murderer? Tang Gongxi asked with an ugly expression on his face. His cultivation was not as good as the other party, as such he could only hold them accountable. The one who helped Ning Cheng was a middle-aged cultivator with a full beard. As if nothing had happened, he clapped his hands and spoke. This Ning Cheng had saved my disciple Li Lingfan's life. Even if you want to make a move, you should at least investigate the matter thoroughly before you start, right? Are you afraid that once this matter is clarified, it would be disadvantageous to you? Ning Cheng saw Li Lingfan standing next to this bearded middle-aged cultivator and nodding towards him with a smile. He immediately understood that Li Lingfan had asked his master to help him. This person was smooth and slick, moreover he was also a person who knew how to repay kindness. Ning Cheng cupped his fists towards Li Lingfan from afar to show his gratitude. Humph, Tang Gongxi, I knew that you would shamelessly bully the weak. Do you think that my Rainbow Fall Sword sect is easy to bully? A familiar voice arrived, causing Ning Cheng to feel relieved. He knew that Elder Bei had arrived. In any case, as long as the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's crucible transformation cultivators arrived, this sickly man would not dare to do anything to him. Tang Gongshi's face was filled with extreme anger as he roared, "Bei Youfa, this is the public square of the Tian continent's great meet of the academies. Do you think that this is the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect that you can cover the sky with one hand? Ning Qing must pay with his life, there is nothing much to say about it. As for why Ning Qing wanted to kill people, I think that the deacon here will investigate it clearly." "We have already investigated it clearly." Tang Gongshi's words had just finished, when the crucible transformation cultivator who initially stopped Ning Qing spoke out. At this time, more and more cultivators started to arrive, the major academies and some rogue cultivators started to gather around to watch the excitement. Many of the cultivators who did not understand what had happened, were attentively listening to the crucible transformation cultivator explain the specific reason. This crucible transformation cultivator flew into the air, as he first cupped his fists towards the surrounding cultivators and spoke, "Fellow Dao friends, the Tian continent's great meet of the academies is one of the biggest events in the Tian continent, as such we absolutely cannot allow anyone to cause trouble. Therefore, we have a mission to protect every cultivator participating in the tournament. No one can move against these cultivators without any reason. Whoever dares to take the initiative to move against the cultivators participating in the tournament, will be killed without mercy." A burst of warm applause erupted. The words of the Crucible Transformation Deacon had also attracted the approval of many of the surrounding cultivators. Chapter 291. This Crucible Transformation Deacon continued, "The matter between Ning Cheng and Ding Liang, we have already investigated it. It was Ding Liang who took the initiative to challenge Ning Cheng. In the end, his strength was not as good as Ning Cheng, and he ended up seriously injured, and then Ding Liang killed himself. Because it was not Ning Cheng who took the initiative to challenge him, and because Ding Liang's cultivation was higher than Ning Cheng's, Ning Cheng is not responsible for this matter." When the results came out, it immediately caused an even bigger sensation. Some people even suspected that this deacon was lying. Ning Cheng's cultivation was not as good as Ding Liang. Was he able to defeat Ding Liang, who was ranked in the top 40 of the Profound Core Realm preliminaries? One had to know that these 100 cultivators who passed the Profound Core Realm preliminaries could almost represent the strongest group of Profound Core cultivators in the entire Tian continent. While the others were shocked by Ning Cheng's cultivation, Ning Cheng himself was also secretly shocked in his heart. Fortunately, he did not take the initiative to challenge Ding Liang. If he took the initiative to challenge Ding Liang, then wouldn't it mean that even if he had a reason, he would still be punished? Ning Cheng thought of this, and felt a burst of discomfort in his heart. Whether one's strength was strong or not, it really was someone else who had the final say. In this place, there was no reason at all, only the rules of the strong. Ning Cheng was also aware that even if he felt uncomfortable, he did not have any right to speak here. He glanced at Jiang Jun, who was staring at him with fiery eyes, and suddenly laughed. "Jiang Jun, didn't you say that I would regret it? I am still alive and well." After saying this, Ning Cheng did not intend to leave. He intended to return to the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect Station. "I also hope that you can live well. If you die early, I will be disappointed. Because you do not know how I will repay you." Jiang Jun spoke without any expression, only he himself knew the anger in his heart. Ning Cheng suddenly spoke, "Jiang Jun, you still want to threaten me. Although you are not worthy of me threatening you, but you can think of it as me threatening you." Jiang Jun spoke with disdain. A Profound Core ant was also worthy of him threatening? Ning Cheng gave a smile. "Very well, I already said that I would let you know what a threat is. A threat is not something that can be ignored, there must be consequences." Hearing Ning Cheng's tone, Jiang Jun unexpectedly had a bad feeling in his heart. Why did he feel that Ning Cheng's tone was very strange? Ning Cheng ignored Jiang Jun and spoke in a clear voice, "Is there anyone here who knows Tan Yushan and has a good relationship with her?" When Jiang Jun heard Cheng's words, his face suddenly turned pale. He was now sure that Ning Cheng definitely knew about the process of him killing Tan Yushan. Humph, a mere Profound Core ant is so arrogant. I am Tan Yushan's elder sister, Tan Yun. Do you want to provoke my great change island again? A disdainful voice arrived. Only then did Ning Qing see that the woman who spoke was standing not far from Jiang Jun. From the tone of her voice, Ning Qing could tell that this woman was helping Jiang Jun. Ning Qing spoke with a trace of contempt in his tone. Your own sister was killed by others, and yet you still speak up for others here. The logic of your great change island is indeed powerful. You dare to talk nonsense about Yushan, go to hell for me. Jiang Jun's words came out, as a shadow broke through the air and arrived in front of Ning Qing. Ning Qing sneered. He was not an opponent of crucible transformation cultivators, yet Jiang Jun, a mere soul essence 9th level cultivator, dared to be arrogant in front of him. This guy seemed to have a lot of talismans. This was a peak rank 6 shadowless arrow talisman. However, just as Ning Qing was about to make his move, he immediately stopped, as he could feel Yin Kongchan making her move. A pair of white gloves suddenly appeared on Yin Kongchan's hands, as she raised her hand and grabbed the shadowless arrow talisman, causing the intense killing intent to instantly converge into nothingness. Junior apprentice sister Kongchan, why are you helping this arrogant and shameless person? Jiang Jun looked at Yin Kongchan in disbelief and asked. He was confident that Yin Kongchan was quite good to him, although Yin Kongchan would rarely be together with other male cultivators, but at least she was not disgusted with him. She even accompanied him to travel through some dangerous peaks and lofty ridges. If replaced by any other male cultivator, it would simply be an impossible thing to do. Jiang Jun's anger and resentment towards Ning Qing was not necessarily due to Yin Kongchan's attitude towards Ning Qing. If there was no such thing, then even if other people were to talk about it, it would not have even half a shred of effect on you. Yin Kongchan spoke in a calm and tranquil manner. Jiang Jun's anger instantly converged as he spoke. What junior apprentice sister Kongchan said is true. I unexpectedly lost control of myself because I had some bad feelings towards this person. At this moment, Jiang Jun once again reverted to his usual demeanor as a young master, as he spoke in a calm tone, without even half a shred of anger. Ning Qing gave a dark sigh in his heart. This person really was a good actor. Ning Qing, why did you say that my younger sister was killed for no reason at all? My younger sister is currently in the process of sculpting her life essence. As such, you have to take responsibility for your words. You are just a little inner sect disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Don't provoke too much hatred for your academy. Tan Yun spoke in a stern tone, although she did not have the disdain towards Ning Qing from before, but there was still a trace of unhappiness in her tone. Ning Qing gave a sneer. Whether your younger sister was killed or not, I have already told you about it. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. I do not have any obligation to make you believe it. Tan Yun no longer paid any attention to Ning Qing. She suddenly slapped her glabella, forcing out a drop of essence blood, while at the same time making a few hand gestures on top of the essence blood. After a few breaths, her complexion suddenly changed. Yushan really had an accident. Who did it? Who was it? Following Tan Yun's words, several cultivators with incomparably formidable auras landed beside her. A dark-faced cultivator couldn't believe it and asked, did something really happen to little Miss Yushan? Tan Yun's complexion turned pale, as she spoke one word at a time. That's right, something really did happen to my younger sister. No matter who killed my younger sister, I will definitely extract his soul and refine it. Jiang Jun, what the hell is going on? Why did something happen to Yushan? Originally because the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's crucible transformation cultivators came over, coupled with the deacon investigating Ning Cheng's actions, the matter of Ning Qing killing the Red Star Sword faction's Ding Liang was considered to have come to an end. But they did not expect that the Great Reform Island's Tan Yushan would suddenly appear, which once again aroused the enthusiasm of the crowd to know the result. The Great Reform Island was also one of the top 10 academies of the Tian continent. As such, it was not an existence that could be easily bullied by others. Jiang Jun suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, as his eyes turned blood red as he cried out, who was it, who dared to kill Yushan? If I, Jiang Jun, do not dismember your body into 10,000 pieces, then I, Jiang Jun, would not be able to call myself a human. Yushan, I will definitely avenge you. Ning Qing, I thought that you were just talking nonsense. I did not expect that what you said was actually the truth. Speak, in the end, who was it that dared to attack Yushan? If you speak, then it would allow me to avenge Yushan, even if I have to work like an ox or a horse for you, I would still be willing. Jiang Jun did not even bother to wipe the blood from the corners of his mouth, as he shouted out in a hoarse voice. Jiang Jun had this kind of sorrowful and miserable feeling of pain, even the onlookers could feel sympathy in their hearts. This person's feelings towards Tan Yushan were simply too deep, to think that he would actually feel such pain. After listening to Ning Cheng's words, Tan Yun, who had some suspicions towards Jiang Jun, was not sure anymore, as she also stared at Ning Cheng. After all, Ning Cheng and Jiang Jun had enmity between them, as such splashing dirty water onto Jiang Jun's body was also normal. Ning Cheng, just tell the truth, no one here would dare to do anything to you. Although my Rainbow Fall Sword sect is not one of the top 10 academies, but it is also not an existence that people can bully. Seeing the several crucible transformation cultivators from the Great Change Island staring at Ning Cheng, as if they could not wait to immediately pounce on him, Elder Bei suddenly took the initiative to speak. Even the deacons from the Heavenly Tao Academy and the other major academies, at this time were also staring at Ning Cheng. This matter for them was not a trivial matter. Once the Great Change Island and the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, or even the Red Star Sword faction started fighting, then this great meat of the academies would be completely destroyed. Of these three major academies, not a single one of them could be provoked. Ning Cheng suddenly gave out a sigh and spoke, Jiang Jun, I originally thought that you were a good actor, but it seems that I was wrong. If you don't go and win the Best Actor Underwear Award, then it would be a huge loss for you. Ning Cheng, in order to help Yushan take revenge, I will endure anything you say, but please tell me, in the end, who harmed Yushan? You speak. Jiang Jun's eyes were still bleeding. This kind of tragic expression really made all the people sympathize with him. If I say it, then I will not say it. Ning Cheng's words were immediately shrouded by countless killing forces. At this moment they could not wait to tear Ning Cheng's body into 10,000 pieces. You are courting death. Whether it was the Crucible Transformation cultivators from the Great Change Island or the Red Star Sword faction, all of their killing forces were directed towards Ning Cheng's side. Ning Cheng's side only had Elder Bei and the Deputy Academy Master Tan Tai Fei, as such they immediately looked somewhat clumsy. If you do not speak today, then I will let you die miserably. Tan Yun's entire body was overflowing with killing intent, as if she would turn into a lioness at any time and swallow Ning Cheng whole. Ning Cheng swept a disdainful glance at Tan Yun. If it were not because I sympathize with Tan Yushan, I would at least want you to pay 100 million spirit stones for me to feel comfortable. Saying that, Ning Cheng no longer paid any attention to Tan Yun, and spoke in a clear and resonant voice, Friends, although I cannot say who did it, but everyone can clearly see who did it. Along with Ning Cheng's words, Ning Cheng immediately threw out a crystal ball. The crystal ball in the sky in just a blink of an eye turned into a huge crystal array formation screen. On the crystal array formation screen, the fight between Jiang Jun and Tan Yushan was very clear, even their expressions could be clearly seen. Jiang Jun, you beast, Tan Yushan must have been blind, to actually fancy a thing like you that is worse than a pig or a dog. Today, I finally understand how my master died. Tan Yushan's voice made all the people understand who was the one who had done this. Tan Yun immediately screamed out, Beast, Yushan could not wait to dig out her heart for you, yet you still want to kill Yushan. Even Yushan's master was killed by you, I will pull out your soul. Tan Yun's face was covered with tears. As she spoke, she immediately rushed towards Jiang Jun. The two Crucible Transformation cultivators from the Red Star Sword faction quickly blocked in front of her, while the Crucible Transformation cultivators from the Great Change Island were obviously not to be outdone. As they immediately brought out their magical weapons, it seemed that a great battle was inevitable. It's not me, it's definitely not me, this crystal ball is fake. Jiang Jun's face no longer had that kind of sadness, only endless panic. However, no one paid any attention to Jiang Jun. Even a fool would know that this crystal ball could not be fake. At this time, all the people were paying close attention to the upcoming great battle. The Great Change Island and the Red Star Sword faction were both major academies of the top 10 academies. As such, once this battle broke out, it would definitely be earth-shattering. Some of the cultivators with weaker cultivations quickly retreated, lest they would not even have the opportunity to retreat once the battle broke out. Chapter 292. Stop. As the voice fell, a powerful aura that could crush all the Crucible Transformation cultivators on the scene swept out in an overwhelming manner. Whether it was the Crucible Transformation cultivators from the Red Star Sword faction or the Great Change Island, all of them, because of this incomparably powerful aura, immediately stopped themselves from continuing to stimulate their magical weapons. Ning Cheng, who was in the midst of this crushing aura, felt that as long as he dared to disobey this aura, the next moment, this aura would crush him into nothingness. With Tan Yun's soul sculpting cultivation, even if she did not listen to these words, she would still be suppressed to the point that she would not be able to move even half a step. It was not up to her to decide whether to listen or not. Ning Cheng was incomparably shocked in his heart. Such a powerful cultivation, this kind of cultivation was definitely above the Crucible Transformation realm. According to Liang Kersen's words, the Tian continent's cultivators above the Crucible Transformation realm had yet to cross the Thunder Tribulation. Once they crossed the Thunder Tribulation, their strength would be just too terrifying. After feeling such formidable strength, Ning Cheng obtained a broken crystal stone, allowing him to quickly advance to the late stages of the Profound Core realm. The superiority of his strength skyrocketing, instantly disappeared without a trace. Previously, when he had the strength comparable to a Soul Essence realm cultivator in the Profound Core realm, he did not care too much about that sickly-looking Crucible Transformation man from the Red Star Sword faction. Even if a sick man wanted to start a fight, in this place, he would have to take the Rainbow Fall Sword sect into consideration. But now that such a terrifying expert had appeared, if these people wanted to kill Ning Cheng, then even if Elder Bei tried his best to stop them, he would not be able to stop them. It's the Heavenly Dao Academy's Dao Master Xiao Bisheng. The surrounding cultivators whispered to Ning Cheng's ears. Ning Cheng came to know that this cultivator was the Heavenly Dao Academy's Dao Master. After the place fell silent, a figure in a green robe landed among the crowd. What made Ning Cheng surprised was that this person turned out to be a young man who looked to be about the same age as him. Although he looked about the same as him, the moment he stood there, the surrounding aura immediately formed around him. It was as if at this moment, he was the ruler of the world. This blue-robed man landed in mid-air, as he looked all around him, before he cupped his fists and spoke, "Fellow friends, since you have come to my Heavenly Dao public square, then you are all my guests." No matter what kind of grievances they had, they could not be resolved in the Heavenly Dao public square. What's more, it was the Heaven Continent's Great Sect Tournament. I hope that everyone can give face to all the sects in the Tian continent. If you can give face to my Heavenly Dao Academy, then I, Xiao Bisheng, will be very grateful. Of course, if you insist on thinking that my Heavenly Dao public square can do whatever you want, then my Heavenly Dao Academy will also accept it. The Taoist lord of the Natural Law School seemed to be polite, but in fact, he was very tough. His meaning was that if anyone dared to cause trouble in the Heavenly Dao public square, then he simply wouldn't ask for the reason and would directly deal with them. Daoist Lord Xiao, my little sister was plotted against and killed by this bastard. Can't I get revenge on him now? Tan Yun stood up and said with extreme grief and indignation. Xiao Bisheng sighed and said, "It's really a pity that your sister was murdered." However, the Heavenly Dao public square had its own set of rules, while the Great Meet of the Academies had its own set of rules. Although Qin Jun behaved like a beast, but he was a cultivator who had passed through the preliminary round of the Soul Essence realm in the Great Meet of the Academies. At the very least, during the Great Sect competition, no one is allowed to take the initiative to fight with him for any reason, unless he takes the initiative to settle it with you. I understand, in the end, it's just that my Great Change Island does not have any top experts. In the future, when my cultivation steps into the Crucible Transformation realm, regardless of the rules, I will definitely kill this bastard. After Tan Yun spoke those words in a cold voice, she unexpectedly calmed down and did not continue to look for Qin Jun. Xiao Bisheng gave a proud smile and spoke, "These rules are not set by my Heavenly Tao Academy, but rather by the entire Tian Continent's academies. Your Great Change Island is also one of them. Of course, if one day your cultivation can crush the experts of the entire Tian Continent's academies, then you can also set your own rules." Qin Jun no longer had that sad and indignant expression from a moment ago. He just coldly glanced at Ning Cheng. His eyes were filled with killing intent, which the people around Ning Cheng could clearly see. Ning Cheng gave an indifferent smile, as if he did not care about it. Although he was aware of the terrifying cultivation of someone above the crucible transformation realm, but facing Qin Jun, who was only in the soul essence realm, he really did not care about him. Since he was not afraid of Qin Jun at this moment, then in the future, he would only grow stronger and stronger compared to Qin Jun. This kind of self-confidence came from the bottom of his heart. Everyone please disperse, and prepare for the upcoming great meet of the academies. After Xiao Bisheng finished speaking, his figure quickly dimmed, and soon disappeared. The cultivators on the public square did not feel any waves because of Xiao Bisheng's departure, rather each and every one of them instinctively dispersed. Ning Cheng bowed to Elder Bei and spoke, "Many thanks for Elder Bei's help, otherwise that sick man would definitely not have let me go." Elder Bei gave a laugh and spoke, "Ning Cheng, you are very good, I like the things you do." At this time, the Red Star Sword faction, I estimate that they would be swallowing flies. "Right. Let me introduce you, this is my Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's Deputy Academy Master Tan Tai." Elder Bei also did not forget to help Ning Cheng introduce Tan Tai Fei, although Ning Cheng was in the limelight during the last Academy assignment, but he was not qualified to meet the Deputy Academy Master. Ning Cheng had already guessed that the old man beside Elder Bei was the Deputy Academy Master. Now that Elder Bei introduced him, he quickly gave a salute and spoke, "Ning Cheng greets Deputy Academy Master Tan Tai." Tan Tai Fei nodded and spoke with a smile, "Good, the Academy Master will be returning to the station tonight. You can first go and chat with the two fairies. When we return to the station in the evening, we have something important to discuss with you." Ning Cheng looked at Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde who were standing by his side, and spoke with some helplessness, "Yes, this disciple will definitely return in the evening." "Ha, it doesn't matter if you come back late in the evening, go on. If there is anything, you can immediately crush this jade talisman." Elder Bei laughed, and after throwing a jade talisman to Ning Cheng, he directly pulled Deputy Academy Master Tan Tai, and soon disappeared without a trace. "We can go and drink coffee now." Yin Kongchan's tone was calm and without any fluctuations. It was as if she had followed Ning Cheng for such a long time, just to drink a cup of coffee. Ning Cheng spoke up in a bad mood, "From here to the coffee shop, there are still countless positional planes. Seeing that you helped me with the talisman, I will take you to drink a cup of spiritual tea. Alas, it really is a headache." Saying that, Ning Cheng looked at Su Yingde who was standing on the other side and spoke, "You can also come with us. Let's solve our problems together, don't always follow me around like a burden." Ning Cheng was walking through the streets of the Heavenly Tao public square with a heart full of worries. Even when he passed by a few rest stops and a spiritual tea house, he did not care about it. Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde who were following behind him, did not speak, nor did they remind Ning Cheng that they had already passed by the rest stops and the spiritual tea house. With two stunning female cultivators following behind Ning Cheng, moreover these two female cultivators were also people with great backgrounds. Coupled with Ning Cheng who had just stirred up trouble, these three people quickly became the scenery on the streets. Many people were pointing at them and whispering to each other. Yin Kongchan acted as if she did not hear any of these discussions, while Su Yingde's face was the same as always, without even half a shred of surprise. Ning Cheng's mind seemed to be wandering, as he was simply thinking about other things. After a while, Ning Cheng finally sobered up. He saw many gazes staring at him, and immediately knew that he was being watched. He quickly wanted to find a rest stop to solve the problem between the three of them, but at this time, he unexpectedly saw a somewhat familiar name. "Hey, Xingba Rest Stop." Ning Cheng stared at the four words in front of him, as his thoughts once again returned to a distant place. Do you often come to this place? Su Yingde interrupted Ning Cheng's thoughts. Ning Cheng walked into the rest stop, while shaking his head and spoke, No, a long time ago, when I was still in school, I saw a coffee shop with a similar name. The rest stop's shop assistant, on seeing the Ning Cheng trio come in, did not even need to say anything, as he took the initiative to lead the Ning Cheng trio to a quiet booth upstairs. These three people were not simple, as such the shop assistant still had a bit of eyesight. You said that you want to drink coffee, is that the coffee shop? Yin Kongchan asked. Ning Cheng gave a sigh and spoke, I have never been to a coffee shop, the prices there are too high. I just buy some of the cheapest ones, and then come back and rinse it with boiling water. With your net worth, what kind of coffee would you not be able to drink? Su Yingde suddenly spoke. My hometown only accepts paper money, not spirit stones, do you understand? If you don't understand, then don't talk nonsense. Ning Cheng's mood suddenly turned bad. Is your hometown very far away? Yin Kongchan asked. Ning Cheng frowned, before he waved his hand and spoke, We did not come here to talk about these boring words, everyone enter the booth, if you have something to say, then you can go ahead and do your own things. Saying that, Ning Cheng took the lead and entered the booth. After the shop assistant served the three people a cup of spiritual tea, he carefully retreated. Ning Cheng raised his hand and shot out a few restrictions, before he spoke, If you have something to say, then you can directly say it, I do not want you to follow me wherever I go. This would make me feel that I do not have even the slightest bit of privacy, do you understand? At this time, in the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's meeting hall, it was also filled with cultivators. In addition to several Crucible Transformation cultivators, there were also several Sea Opening Realm cultivators. At the bottom sat 2 people, 2 Soul Essence cultivators, and 3 Profound Core cultivators. Sitting at the head of the table was a middle-aged man with a white face, his eyes were incomparably deep, as if there was nothing in his eyes, there was no secret. This was the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's headmaster, Rui Baishan, who had just arrived at the station. Zhang Qian, you can explain the situation again in detail. The headmaster sitting at the head of the table, looked at the Profound Core 7th level cultivator sitting at the bottom. This Profound Core 7th level cultivator on seeing this quickly stood up, as he carefully spoke, Yes, headmaster. At that time, I was in the cultivator exchange hall, and was preparing to sell 10 drops of spiritual enhancement true nectar. Zhang Qian spoke in a very detailed manner, even the words that Ning Cheng had spoken when he stepped onto the battle ring, were very clear in his words. You are saying that Ning Cheng, on the battle ring, just flashed a few times, before he managed to escape from Ding Liang's cloud isolating claw shadows, and then brought out a long spear to kill Ding Liang? Rui Baishan's tone turned a bit harsh. Yes, this disciple absolutely does not dare to lie. It's just that senior apprentice brother Ning's cultivation is much higher than mine, this disciple is ashamed to be unable to distinguish the details of senior apprentice brother Ning's movements. Zhang Qian replied in a respectful manner. Chapter 293. Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's headmaster Rui Baishan nodded, and then looked at the rest of the people and spoke, If Ning Cheng really has such formidable strength, then not letting him participate in the tournament would be a huge mistake. Headmaster, although our Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's results in the Profound Core Realm preliminaries were not good, but we still managed to get 2 people into the top 100 of the preliminaries. According to the rules of the tournament, Ning Cheng can replace one of the 2 people in the tournament. A Crucible Transformation elder immediately spoke up. But in this way, it would be tantamount to taking away the future of the disciples who managed to get a place in the finals, it would be unfair to them. Moreover, Ning Cheng himself is not very willing to participate in this tournament. If he was willing to participate, he would have already signed up. Deputy Headmaster Tan Tai Fei spoke up. A middle-aged woman sitting next to Tan Tai Fei snorted and spoke, Ning Cheng has already brought so much trouble to our Rainbow Fall Sword Sect, letting him represent the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect in the Profound Core Realm tournament, it is already considered as a special favor, why would he not be willing? Elder Bei had not spoken, but now that he heard the woman's words, he immediately retorted in a somewhat unhappy manner, speaking of which, Ning Cheng also helped my Rainbow Fall Sword sect, how could he bring any trouble to us? Besides, in my Rainbow Fall Sword sect, the disciples participating in the tournament are voluntary. Moreover, I also agree with what senior apprentice brother Tantai said, even if Ning Cheng is willing to participate, it would be unfair to the other two disciples who managed to break into the finals. Rui Baishan waved his hand, stopping the female cultivator from continuing to speak, and then spoke. Deputy Headmaster Tantai's words and Elder Bei's words are somewhat reasonable, although my Rainbow Fall Sword sect will not be able to enter the top 10 academies, but as a sword sect, we must have sword chi, we cannot force our disciples to do things that they do not want to do. Headmaster, all the elders, disciple Xian Saishue is willing to withdraw from the finals, and give up the spot to senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng. At this time, a profound core female cultivator sitting at the bottom took the initiative to step forward, as she bowed and spoke. The male cultivator beside her, on seeing the female cultivator step out, also quickly stepped forward and spoke. Disciple Yang Shi is also willing to give up the spot to senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng. Rui Baishan nodded and spoke. Xian Saishue is ranked 81, while Yang Shi is ranked 92. Since Xian Saishue stepped forward first, then let Xian Saishue's spot be the first. Xian Saishue gave up the spot. The academy will give her spot to Ning Cheng. Since Xian Saishue gave up her quota, the sect would give her a certain amount of compensation. After Ning Cheng comes back, we can ask Ning Cheng. If Ning Cheng does not want to participate in the competition, then there is no need to force him. Thank you, sect master. Thank you, elders. Xian Saishue hurriedly expressed her gratitude again and retreated. She was also reluctant to give up this spot, but Xian Saishue knew that with her strength, it was impossible for her to enter the top 50, let alone the top 10. Many of the cultivators who passed the preliminary round did not even bring out their full strength. My matters are somewhat private, can I speak to you alone? Su Yingde looked at Ning Cheng, without any intention of avoiding Yin Kongchan. Yin Kongchan also immediately spoke up, my matters are also very private, so I want to speak to you alone. Ning Cheng gave a sneer and spoke, there is no such thing as privacy in front of me, even if you want to go to bed with me immediately, you need to speak it out now. If you don't want to talk about it, then please leave. Don't send any elders to our Rainbow Fall Sword sect to annoy us. Su Yingde, on seeing Ning Cheng's firm tone, without even half a bit of leeway, also spoke up, since that is the case, then I will speak it out directly. The reason why I want to become your Dao companion is not to deceive you, it is because I really want to become your Dao companion. You can rest assured, even if I can successfully sever my emotions on you, I will not have any relationship with a second man after that. Ning Cheng did not show even half a shred of fluctuations because of Su Yingde's words, and still spoke out calmly, give me the reason. You can think of it as love at first sight. In that ice house, when I saw you talking to the life essence of the ancient immortal cave, I think that you have already left a very deep impression in my heart. You can make me fall in love with you. Only if you leave an impression on me, then I can fall in love with you. My severing emotions Dao sect does not just casually find a person to fall in love with, of course, I also have another reason. Ning Cheng gave a sneer and spoke, in the end, it is all because of what you want, and because of what you want to do. What is in it for me? Besides, is it really that important for me to fall in love with you? Su Yingde, you are indeed beautiful, but if you think that just because you are beautiful, then you can make me accompany you to do this kind of boring thing, then forgive me for not accompanying you. Su Yingde's complexion did not change in the slightest, and still spoke, if I cannot sever my emotions, then I will accompany you for a lifetime. Ning Cheng shook his head, is it that rare? Saying that, Ning Cheng looked at Yin Kongchan and spoke, it's your turn. Wait. Su Yingde spoke again, I have another reason, it is because I guess that you have a 9-colored mirage tree on you, the 9-colored mirage tree is very important to me, I want to ask you for a branch. Ning Cheng's complexion sank, he did not ask Su Yingde, he was thinking in his heart, how did Su Yingde know that he had a 9-colored mirage tree on him? Perhaps this was the real purpose of Su Yingde. What good impression, what good falling in love with him, it was all a lie to deceive a ghost. Su Yingde seemed to know what Ning Cheng was thinking, and took the initiative to speak. The Mirage Ship Island has reappeared. Moreover, from the information I obtained, the 9-colored Mirage tree on the Mirage Ship Island has also been dug out by someone. The 9-colored Mirage tree is countless times more precious than the profound Dragon Stone. It is simply not something that can be dug out with true essence. The more powerful one's true essence is, the more solid the Mirage tree would be. In theory, even a crucible transformation cultivator would not be able to dig out the 9-colored Mirage tree from the Mirage Ship Island. I do not know if my guess is right, but I guess that the 9-colored Mirage tree is most likely on you. Ning Cheng's complexion on hearing this immediately changed. The 9-colored Mirage tree that he had thrown into his miniature world had already withered. He had initially thought that it was simply a worthless thing, but from Su Yingde's tone, how could the 9-colored Mirage tree be so valuable? Doesn't this mean, you have a 9-colored Mirage tree? Yin Kongchan also stood up in shock. She finally understood why Su Yingde wanted to fall in love with Ning Cheng. Even if she could not sever her emotions, and even if she really became Dao companions with Ning Cheng possessing the 9-colored Mirage tree, she would not lose out on this transaction. The severing emotions Dao sect, it really was a good plan. In contrast, the floating snow palace simply did not have such a plan. She came to look for Ning Cheng to become husband and wife. It was completely her own private act. It was not because she really fell in love with Ning Cheng. If no one knew about this matter, I would not have spoken about it today. Ning Cheng, you should know about the matter regarding the 9-colored Mirage tree. My severing emotions Dao sect already knows about it. I believe that there are at least no less than 20 people who know about it. You appeared in the Heavenly Dao public square, and waited for more than a month before the great meet of the academies ends. At that time, there would be countless people who would want to kill you. Su Yingde still spoke in a calm voice. Ning Cheng remained silent. He did not admit that he had the 9-colored Mirage tree, nor did he deny it. However, he knew that it did not matter whether he admitted it or not, as he knew that he was in big trouble. If the 9-colored Mirage tree was really as Su Yingde said, that it was countless times more precious than Mirage stones, then him selling the spiritual enhancement True Nectar to reduce his troubles was just a complete joke. He knew that Su Yingde was not wrong about one thing, that is, the 9-colored Mirage tree could not be dug up using true essence. He had used the power of hope to dig up the 9-colored Mirage tree, but wasn't the tree already dead? Moreover, from Yin Kongchan's expression, Ning Cheng could guess that the 9-colored Mirage tree was not simple at all. Yin Kongchan and he had known each other until now, and had always had the same expression, but now she was also surprised by the 9-colored Mirage tree. It was clear that the 9-colored Mirage tree was truly amazing. Yin Kongchan's face had already restored to its previous tranquility, as she spoke with a sigh. There is only a single 9-colored Mirage tree in this world, moreover it is only found in the star boundary where the Mirage Island appears. Ning Cheng, if the 9-colored Mirage tree really is in your possession, then your troubles would not be small. No one would be willing to let go of the Mirage tree, even if you have more wealth. In front of the Mirage tree, it would simply be illusory. When Ning Cheng heard those words, he gave a faint smile and spoke, I have also been to the Mirage Ship Island, and have also seen the 9-colored Mirage tree. It is definitely more than one. Not only is there more than one, but there are also a lot of them. How could it be so precious? Did the two of you form a group to fool me? When Su Yingde heard Ning Cheng's words, she immediately knew that the information provided by the Severing Emotions Dao sect was not wrong. Since Ning Cheng had been to the Mirage Ship Island, then it was very likely that he really had a 9-colored Mirage tree. She looked at Ning Cheng with a pair of clear water-like eyes and spoke, You are wrong, there is only one 9-colored Mirage tree. The rest of the 9-colored Mirage trees that you see are all illusory, only one of them is real. Do you know what is called illusory? It is illusory and ethereal. It is not something that you can see with the naked eye. What you see or even what you get is fake, that is illusory. Ning Cheng gave a sneer, even if I dug up a 9-colored Mirage tree, it does not necessarily mean that I would have the kind of good luck that you are talking about, right? Did I just happen to dig up the real Mirage tree? Because no matter which 9-colored mirage tree you dig up, as long as you dig it up, then that one is the real one. The rest of the mirage trees will turn into 8-colored mirage trees within a year. Moreover, the next time the Mirage Island appears, there would only be 8-colored mirage stones on the island. The next time, there would only be 7-colored mirage stones, and so on, until the Mirage Island no longer appears in this world. Suingdae's eyes were incomparably clear, just like a clear and transparent black and white landscape painting, causing people to not doubt that her words were false. Moreover, even if you obtain more 9-colored mirage stones on the Mirage Ship Island, it would only turn into 9, not more, not less. Suingdae stared at Ning Cheng as she spoke, as if she wanted to see a flower blossoming on Ning Cheng's face. Ning Cheng was surprised, as he quickly took out a pile of jade boxes, and directly opened these jade boxes. Since the existence of the mirage tree was already known by these two women, moreover the others also knew about it, then what was the point of hiding a few mirage stones? Compared to the dangers of the mirage tree, these mirage stones were nothing. Ning Cheng had a total of 18 9-colored mirage stones, and had given one to Liang Kersen, leaving him with 17 9-colored mirage stones. Now he opened the 17 jade boxes one by one. When Ning Cheng discovered that out of the 17 jade boxes, there were only 8 9-colored mirage stones, while the rest of the jade boxes were empty, he immediately froze. Chapter 294. Ning Cheng could not believe it as he looked at the 9 empty boxes in front of him. If he did not know that no one had touched his ring, he would have thought that someone had stolen it. Ning Cheng was dumbfounded, Yin Kongchan and Suingdae were equally dumbfounded. Just what kind of person was this to actually be able to obtain so many 9-colored mirage stones? The two women were both amazingly intelligent, and instantly understood that Ning Cheng had really dug out the mirage tree. Moreover, he had also obtained 18 9-colored mirage stones, but now 9 of the mirage stones had disappeared. It turns out to be true. Doesn't that mean that the mirage stones of the people who obtained the 9-colored mirage stones in the past would also automatically disappear? Ning Cheng asked as he thought about it. Suingdae spoke in a slow voice. 9-colored mirage stones are extremely rare, although some people had managed to obtain them before, but generally they would not keep them, and would basically use them up. If I did not use it, I'm afraid that the 9-colored mirage tree would disappear from the Mirage Island. Ning Cheng put away the mirage stone, as his complexion turned ugly. Since the two women in front of him already knew about it, then it was only a matter of time before others came to know that he had a 9-colored mirage tree. At that time, even the Rainbow Falls Sword sect would not be able to shelter him. Besides, after knowing that he had the 9-colored mirage tree, would the Rainbow Falls Sword sect still shelter him? Fortunately, he had made an appointment with these two women today. Otherwise, even if he did not take out the 9-colored mirage stone in that ancient immortal cave, sooner or later he would have been exposed. He would not even know how he died. The Mirage Ship Island had lost a 9-colored mirage tree. This kind of thing, if they did not investigate it, then it would really be strange. Since you really have a 9-colored mirage tree, then after this great meet, you will definitely not be able to return to the Rainbow Falls Sword sect. It is currently the time for the great meet of the academies, as such no one is focusing their energy on this matter. Moreover, the news about the 9-colored mirage tree has not yet been completely leaked out, as such you still have the opportunity to escape. Of course, the premise is that the two of us do not speak about this matter. Suingdae finished, as she lightly swept a glance at Yin Kongchan. Yin Kongchan still spoke up in a calm voice. At least I will not be like some of the academies, who would sever their emotions. If I fell in love with someone, I would not go and sever my emotions. I will live and die for him. So to say, are you really sincere towards Ning Cheng? Is that why the floating snow palace proposed marriage to Ning Cheng? Although Suingdae's tone did not contain even half a shred of sarcasm, but Yin Kongchan could still feel the sarcasm in it. Ning Cheng, at this time, was not in the mood to ask Yin Kongchan about the reason why she wanted to come together with him. He was thinking about how to leave the Heavenly Dao public square, and then how to escape to a faraway place. If you want to fly far away, then I can accompany you. Yin Kongchan seemed to have understood the meaning behind Ning Cheng's words, as she suddenly spoke up. Ning Cheng immediately recovered, as he looked at Yin Kongchan in doubt and spoke, "Do you really want to marry me?" Yin Kongchan shook her head and spoke, "I don't really want to marry you, of course, if you want me to marry you, then I can also marry you, but I will not dual cultivate with you." Ning Cheng sneered, "Raising a hen that can lay eggs, if you don't want to dual cultivate with me, then why would I marry you? Do I have to raise you for nothing just because you're beautiful?" Yin Kongchan did not care about Ning Cheng's words, and still spoke up, "The reason why I wanted the academy to propose marriage to you, was because I wanted you to give me something. Now that I've met your people, I know that's impossible, so I've decided to work with you. What do you want?" Ning Cheng was currently in a bad mood, as such the tone of his words was also somewhat aggressive. He did not have the patience of Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde. The twin heavenly cloud wings. Yin Kongchan spoke as she stared at Ning Cheng's eyes. She wanted to see if Ning Cheng was telling the truth or lying. Ning Cheng spoke with disdain, "One of you wants my mirage tree, while the other wants my twin heavenly cloud wings. I'll tell you the truth, I have both of them, but unfortunately, I'm not willing to take them out. If you want to snatch them, then you can directly come up to me, I'll also take them." "You really do have the twin heavenly cloud wings." Yin Kongchan gave a sigh of relief, as she calmly spoke to Ning Cheng, "Since I said it out loud, then I will not snatch it from you. You should have participated in the Heavenly Stars auction." Yin Kongchan's words were immediately interrupted by Ning Cheng, "You don't need to say it, others already know that I sold a lot of spiritual enhancement true nectar at the Heavenly Stars auction, only an idiot would not know about it." Yin Kongchan did not seem to hear the uncomfortable tone in Ning Cheng's voice, as she continued, "I'm not talking about the spiritual enhancement true nectar, but the geocentric 9 Yin essence, so it was you." Ning Cheng instantly came to understand. Initially, when he was competing for the geocentric 9 Yin essence jade strip, a female cultivator had appeared out of thin air, and snatched away the geocentric 9 Yin essence jade strip. Although the Heavenly Stars auction house did not divulge any information about their customers, but with the strength of the floating snow palace, it would be too easy for the Heavenly Stars auction house to divulge information about a lone ghost without any backing. For Yin Kongchan to come to know about his matters from the Heavenly Stars auction house, it would not be difficult. Before, Yin Kongchan might not have known that he was Ning Cheng, but after he exposed the spiritual enhancement true nectar, everything became very clear. Ning Cheng understood that these two women had their own plans, as such he completely calmed down. He wanted Yin Kongchan's geocentric 9 Yin essence jade strip, but at the same time he also wanted to find a way to leave the Heavenly Dao public square, and fly to a faraway place. If it did not work, then he would have to go back to the Le continent. "What do you want?" There is no need to mention the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Now it is not called a pair of wings, but rather the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Ning Cheng no longer spoke any nonsense with Yin Kongchan, since things had already come to this point, it was already very obvious. What he was concerned about now, was what he should do in the future. "Let's cooperate, and go together to obtain the geocentric 9 Yin essence. The reason why I want your twin wings of the heavenly clouds is also because of the geocentric 9 Yin essence. This thing is extremely important to me. Moreover, other than the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, there is no other way to get close to the geocentric 9 Yin essence." Yin Kongchan spoke in a straightforward manner. "Okay, just give me a copy of the jade strip, and then I will go to that place and wait for you." Ning Cheng spoke without hesitation. Yin Kongchan spoke in a light voice, "Although I do not like to think about things, but I am not an idiot. Can you not speak to me in such an idiotic tone? Well, since you have the heart of a villain, then just say a place, we will meet at that place." Ning Cheng knew that Yin Kongchan did not believe him, and was afraid that after he took the jade strip, he would immediately kick her away. "I also want to go there." Su Yingde, who had already been excluded, immediately spoke up. Yin Kongchan still spoke in a light voice, "I have the geocentric 9 Yin essence jade strip, Ning Cheng has the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, what do you have? Could it be that you have something that you can use to threaten Ning Cheng, so you want to threaten him? Suing Day spoke in the same tone. I said that I would fall in love with Ning Cheng. I will not threaten a person that I want to fall in love with. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and stopped Suing Day's words. Stop, I have already told you, we do not have any emotional relationship. I already have a fiancé, do you know that? If you are unmarried then you are not a wife, moreover even if you have a Dao companion, it would not affect me falling in love with you. Suing Day's tone slightly paused. Now is not the time to talk about this, now is the time to talk about cooperation. The geocentric 9-yin essence is also very important to me, just like how I desire the branch of the mirage tree. Because if your jade strip has the wrong direction, then I can help you find the geocentric 9-yin essence. Yin Kongchan just looked at Ning Cheng and spoke. The reason why Suing Day wants to be with you is because she wants to fall in love with you. If she cannot even be with you, then falling in love with you would just be nonsense. As for the rest of her words, I do not believe it. Suing Day also did not refute Yin Kongchan, she just waved her hand, and a snow-white adorable spiritual fox immediately jumped onto her shoulder. This is the spiritual fox seeking Little Sun. If you cannot find the geocentric 9-yin essence, then as long as the general direction is correct, then Little Sun would definitely be able to help you. Suing Day finished, but did not care about Yin Kongchan, and instead stared at Ning Cheng. Yin Kongchan showed a bit of surprise for the second time, and only spoke up after a while. You actually have such a treasure, moreover you even took it out for people to see. It seems like you are serious. Suing Day still looked at Ning Cheng, and did not answer Yin Kongchan's words. Yin Kongchan saw that Ning Cheng was about to speak, and suddenly spoke up in front of him. Ning Cheng, I agree to let Suing Day go together, but Suing Day wants to fall in love with you, you have to be careful. The people from the Severing Emotions Dao sect talk about falling in love with you, but the truth is that they do not have any feelings at all, and do not even recognize their own relatives. When she wants to leave, is when you would fall in love with her the most. At that time you would be better off dead than alive, but she would not care about it at all, she might even kill you. Ning Cheng gave a calm smile. Since that is the case, then let's all go together. As for Yin Kongchan's persuasion, Ning Cheng directly ignored it. Suing Day was a cheap person, but Yin Kongchan was also not much better. These two people were not even worthy to carry the shoes of his Luofei, so how could they be worthy for him to fall in love with them? He was not the kind of person who only cared about appearances. Good, since everyone has reached an agreement, then let's talk about your current situation. Suing Day raised her hand and once again put away the spiritual seeking fox and spoke. If I have not guessed wrong, then when you return to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, you will be representing the Academy in the finals of the Profound Core realm. Moreover, both of us also have a task for the Great Meet, so before the end of the Great Meet of the Academies, we will not be able to leave, nor can we leave. Ning Cheng frowned. I did not participate in the preliminaries for the Profound Core realm, as such I will not be representing the Academy in the tournament. Yin Kongchan took the initiative to speak up. Every academy has a substitute quota for the finals. The Rainbow Fall Sword sect has 2 Profound Core cultivators who broke into the finals of the Profound Core realm. This time Suing Day guessed it right. The Rainbow Fall Sword sect will definitely let you replace another Profound Core cultivator, and represent the Academy in the tournament for the Profound Core realm. When Yin Kongchan said that every academy had a substitute quota for the finals, Ning Cheng knew that these 2 women were right. It seems that he really might be able to represent the Academy in the tournament. Alright, then let's talk about how we are going to leave this place after the Great Meet. Ning Cheng understood this truth and immediately spoke up. Representing the Academy to participate in the tournament, it was not a big deal. Yin Kongchan took out 3 talismans and spoke. These are 3 rank 7 marking escape talismans. After activating it, you can completely escape from the range of a Crucible Transformation Cultivator's spiritual consciousness. The 3 of us will each take one. As long as we leave behind a spiritual consciousness mark at the same time, after we escape, we will appear in the same place. Chapter 295. Disciple Ning Cheng greets the headmaster. After Ning Cheng paid his respects, he slightly sized up the middle-aged man in front of him. At the same time, he couldn't help but think in his heart, in terms of cultivation, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect master Rui Baishan was a lot weaker than the Heavenly Tao Academy's Tao master. And his divine sense and quintessence are indeed powerful. Rui Baishan spoke up in a gentle tone. The first time he saw Ning Cheng, he immediately knew that Ning Cheng possessed an extremely powerful spiritual consciousness. At the side, Elder Bei suddenly smiled and spoke, "Ning Cheng, the headmaster is a gentle person, you should relax a bit." Ning Cheng found it funny in his heart, from the beginning to the end, he had never been nervous, so what did it mean to relax a bit? Rui Baishan gave a chuckle and spoke, "Ning Cheng is not even half a bit nervous. How did your discussion with the floating snow palaces in Kongchan and the severing emotions Dao Sect Suingde go?" Ning Cheng scratched his head in embarrassment and said, "I wanted to clean them up in one go, but the two of them are not easy to get along with." "What, you want both of them?" Elder Bei was a relatively honest person, and immediately asked with some surprise. Ning Cheng was waiting for these words, as he gave a smile and spoke, "Although we did not negotiate properly, but we have already agreed that after the great meet, everyone would get along with each other, and then walk around. So after the competition, I might have to return to the sect a little later." Elder Bei and Tan Tai Fei looked at each other in dismay. Wasn't this Ning Cheng a little too powerful? He actually had this kind of ability. Rui Baishan once again spoke with a smile, "Ning Cheng, there are some things that you have to grasp, as long as you do not suffer a loss. I called you here today because there's something else I want to ask you. Because you were in seclusion, you didn't participate in the sect's competition. This time my Rainbow Fall Sword sect's results are very poor, perhaps even worse than the last time. I want you to temporarily replace Xian Saishue, and enter the finals of the Profound Core Realm Disciples. What do you think?" Ning Cheng had already guessed that this would be the case, as such he did not show even half a shred of reluctance and spoke, "Headmaster, elders, I have always been a disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Contributing to the sect is a matter of course, and I will definitely not decline." "Good, Ning Cheng, I really did not misjudge you." Elder Bei clapped his hands and spoke. "It won't just be for the sake of contribution. In this great meet of the academies, those who manage to enter the top 100 will receive supreme honor and even generous rewards," Sect Master Rui Baishan said with a smile. Ning Cheng had not thought of this point, but now that the headmaster spoke in such a manner, he immediately thought of Xian Saishue who had given up her position to him, and quickly spoke up, "Headmaster, wouldn't that mean that senior apprentice sister Xian would suffer a big loss?" "No, the sect will compensate her. Moreover, with her strength, she would not be able to get many points." Another elder whom Ning Cheng did not know spoke up. Ning Cheng hesitated for a moment before he spoke, "How about this, my rewards will be divided with senior apprentice sister Xian Saishue. I have been cultivating in the Academy's small spiritual domain, and have already obtained a lot of benefits from the Academy, as such I cannot take advantage of senior apprentice sister in vain." Rui Baishan nodded, he felt that Ning Cheng was indeed a good person, at least he was not a greedy person. Moreover, Ning Cheng also had a secret that he did not reveal, that was, Ning Cheng's attainments in array formations were definitely not bad. The most central place of the Heavenly Tao public square was where the great meet of the academies would be held. Today, this place was once again packed with cultivators, but what was different from the preliminary round was that there were originally 10 battle rings, but now there was only one. Moreover, whether it was the Essence Building Realm, Profound Core Realm, or the Soul Essence Realm and the Realm Skipping Challenge, the finals would all be held on this battle ring. As for the Profound Congealing Realm, they would not be able to participate in the great meet of the academies. To measure the overall strength of an academy, it was the strength of the disciples in the Essence Building Realm, Profound Core Realm and Soul Essence Realm. Of course, the best way to score points would be in the Realm Skipping Challenge. However, if your strength was far stronger than those in the same realm, then you would be able to get a high score in any realm. With the finals of the Essence Building Realm coming to an end, today was the start of the finals of the Profound Core Realm. It was reasonable to say that the matches of the Profound Core Realm would not attract so many people, only the matches of the Soul Essence Realm and the Realm Skipping Challenge would be filled with people. The reason why there were so many people here was mainly to see the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's Ning Cheng. According to the speculations of all the academies, Ning Cheng would definitely represent the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect in the finals of the Profound Core realm. The finals of the Great Meet of the Academies adopted a challenge system. Any of the cultivators who passed through the preliminary rounds would be able to come up on stage and become the champion of the ring, and accept the challenges from the other 99 people. Winning a match would give you a point, winning 10 matches in a row would give you 10 points. However, if you lost a match, you would have to deduct a point. Every cultivator, after passing through the preliminary rounds, would have a base point. Any cultivator, as long as their points fell to a negative number, then they would lose the qualifications to challenge. In other words, you would have a point, but if you lost 2 matches in a row, then sorry, you would end up with a negative point, and would be directly eliminated. Moreover, your negative points would have to be paid for by the Academy. It would be directly added to the Academy's total score, causing the Academy's total score to drop. Of course, if you won 10 matches in a row, then even if you lost 9 matches in a row, as long as your score was still above 0, you would still be able to come up on stage. This competition was under your own control. For example, if you won 10 points, and did not want to participate in the following matches, then you could take your points and withdraw. Because the final evaluation of the 10 major academies would be based on the cumulative score, it would not be because you withdrew midway, and did not obtain the first place. Your points would also be added to the Academy's total score. Big Brother Ning, if I had known that you would come, I would have waited a few days before coming over with you. Liang Kersen spoke with a very happy tone. Her harvest these past few days was not small. Hearing that Ning Cheng had come to the Heavenly Dao public square, she had just found Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke, "Junior apprentice Sister Kersen, initially we were both profound congealing cultivators, congratulations on advancing to the Soul Essence realm Ah." Liang Kersen curled her lips and spoke, "My Soul Essence realm is not even enough for a slap from Big Brother Ning, I am well aware of it in my heart. This time Big Brother Ning, you must take the first place in the Profound Core realm Ah." Ning Cheng spoke in a low voice, "I do not need to take the first place, as long as the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect has the opportunity to enter the Tian continent's top 10 academies, I estimate that 20 points should be enough." 20 points is not enough to take the first place Ah, then you would need to win 20 matches Ah. Liang Kersen stuck out her tongue, but she knew Ning Cheng's strength, so although she was surprised, she was not too surprised. Ning Cheng shook his head and spoke, "You see that guy on the battle ring, he has already won 6 matches in a row. With his momentum, he would definitely win 10 matches in a row. I know that person, he is the Yin Yang Dao Sect's Shenbuchuan, he was ranked 11th in the preliminary round, it looks like he really wants to take the flight-type magical weapon." Liang Kersen spoke up. Ning Cheng gave an "oh" sound. "Does the first place of the Profound Core Division Finals also have a flight-type magical weapon as a reward?" Liang Kersen looked at Ning Cheng and spoke, "Don't tell me you don't even know about the rewards." Ning Cheng shook his head, "I really don't know. After receiving the order from the headmaster, I went into seclusion to rest for 2 days, and then came to participate in the tournament." Liang Kersen was speechless as she spoke, "You really are relaxed. The first place of the Profound Core Division Finals will be rewarded with a top-quality soul condensing pill, as well as tens of millions of spirit stones. So generous." Ning Cheng, on hearing the top-quality soul condensing pill, almost drooled. He had gone through untold hardships, and even deceived others, but only managed to obtain a top-quality soul condensing pill. If he had known that there was a special grade soul condensing pill here, he would have done everything he could to participate in the competition. Liang Kersen spoke with slight contempt, "What kind of generous reward is this? This is just the first one." Once the first place scored more than 30 points, they would be rewarded with another supreme grade flying spiritual tool. Once the first place scores more than 50 points, another soul concentrating pill will be added. If the score reaches more than 80 points, you will get another bottle of Essence Birthing Bamboo Pith. Essence Birthing Bamboo Pith. Ning Cheng stared at Liang Kersen with wide eyes. For him, the Essence Birthing Bamboo Pith was countless times more precious than the spiritual enhancement True Nectar. Just a small mouthful of the essence birthing bamboo pith would be able to completely restore one's true essence, which was much better than any spirit pill. Moreover, it also did not contain any pill toxins, allowing one to recover very quickly. He didn't expect that there would be such generous prizes in this competition. According to the weight of the rewards, wouldn't there be more soul essence competition and realm skipping competitions? However, Ning Cheng was not aware of the rules of the rewards. Even if he was in the soul essence realm, the reward would at most be an increase in the grade of the pill, and would not be much more. One had to know that in the tournament for the profound core realm, it was extremely difficult to obtain more than 30 points. Even if one's strength was formidable, one's true essence was also limited. Moreover, since they were able to participate in this tournament, which one of them did not possess formidable strength? Junior apprentice Sister Curson, I'm not going to talk nonsense with you anymore. I'm going to get the prize, that's right, if I'm not in the academy, you have to remember to help me look after my immortal cave. As Ning Cheng finished speaking, he had already flown up to the battle platform. At this moment, a profound core 8th level cultivator had just been blasted out of the battle platform, causing him to almost pass by Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng went up, Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's Ning Cheng went up. Yes, it's that Ning Cheng who took out a barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar, stirred up the enmity between the Great Change Island and the Red Star Sword faction, and even drew out the Tao Master Ning Cheng. Chapter 296. As Ning Cheng flew up to the battle ring, it immediately aroused countless discussions. Even some of the cultivators in the Soul Essence realm and above who did not care much about the Profound Core Division's tournament, immediately focused their attention on him. Are you Ning Cheng? Shen Buchuan looked at Ning Cheng and asked in a flat tone. Shen Buchuan's entire body exuded an elusive aura. It seemed to be an open and aboveboard masculine aura, but after carefully observing it, it seemed to be an incomparably feminine and cold aura, which made Ning Cheng very unhappy. Good, let's start. Ning Cheng did not ask for the other party's name. Shen Buchuan showed a faint smile and spoke, you are wrong, I have fought 7 battles in a row, so I need to rest for a while. I hope that you can hold on for a few rounds and wait for me to come up. Don't disappoint me and get kicked down. Finished speaking, Shen Buchuan took the initiative to step down from the ring. Shen Buchuan's words were open and aboveboard. Although there were many onlookers, no one ridiculed him for being a coward. Ning Cheng's fierce reputation had already spread far and wide. Moreover, he was someone who could kill Ding Liang. As such, it was quite normal for Shen Buchuan to choose to observe Ning Cheng's battle prowess. Moreover, Shen Buchuan's tone was filled with contempt, as if he did not put Ning Cheng in his eyes. The reason why he wanted to rest was just to be cautious. He probably wanted to win 30 matches in a row. Ning Cheng smiled, your name and your noble temperament remind me of a person, you are very similar to him. That person was also the leader of a sect and had learned a very powerful sword skill. Sigh, it's a pity that the sword skill is somewhat incomplete. Otherwise, he might be the #1 expert. Oh, who is it? Shen Buchuan, who had already walked down the ring, turned around and asked curiously. Ning Cheng spoke in a stern tone, I cannot tell you who it is, but I can tell you the secret of the 8 characters of that person's sword technique. Of course, I'm not sure if you've already done it. Yes. Shen Buchuan's expression became dignified. No matter what kind of secret 8 characters it was better for him to listen to it than not. Not to mention Shen Buchuan, even the countless cultivators watching the tournament were paying close attention to Ning Cheng as he spoke out these 8 secret words. If you want to cultivate a divine art, you must first castrate yourself. Ning Cheng's tone was also very serious. Ha ha ha. Countless cultivators under the battle ring burst into laughter. All the people thought that Ning Cheng must have made it up to ridicule Shen Buchuan. Even some of the reserved female disciples from the Floating Snow Palace and the Severing Emotions Tao sect couldn't help but cover their faces and snicker. This Ning Cheng was simply too much. Using a single sentence to attract Shen Buchuan's attention, he even went so far as to say such a derogatory sentence. Hearing the female disciple snickering, a middle-aged female cultivator from the Severing Emotions Tao sect suddenly frowned and spoke, "Junior apprentice Sister Qianghua, you are used to observing people. But this Ning Qing doesn't seem to have any integrity. Is it really appropriate for Yingde to choose him as her target to sever her emotions?" The female cultivator named Qianghua was wearing a white robe, with a delicate and refined appearance. She stood in the distance, hesitating. Her beauty was not even half a point worse than Su Yingde. Even her temperament surpassed the already stunning Su Yingde. This person was none other than Su Yingde's master, Shi Qianghua. Initially, she had gone to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to arrange a marriage for Su Yingde. Shi Qianghua calmly spoke, "Ning Cheng's personality is sincere and straightforward, moreover he has a kind nature, he is different from many of the hypocrites in the Tian continent. His kindness comes from the bottom of his heart, while most of the cultivators in the Tian continent have a kind heart for others to see. Yingde's choice is really good, Ning Cheng is the most suitable person to fall in love with." Alas! The middle-aged female cultivator on hearing Shi Qianghua sigh once again asked, "Qianghua, since Ning Cheng is the most suitable person, then why are you sighing?" Shi Qianghua was silent for a long time before speaking, "Senior apprentice sister, although that Ning Cheng is suitable for falling in love, but he is not suitable for severing his emotions. His ostentatiousness is only on the surface, but in the depths of his heart, this person is an extremely emotional person. Once he falls in love, and is then severed by Yingde, he would turn into a very pitiful person. Even his entire life would be ruined." The middle-aged female cultivator nodded, but did not care about Shi Qianghua's words. It did not matter whether Ning Cheng was suitable for severing her emotions or not, as long as Su Yingde could sever her emotions on Ning Cheng's body. Whether Ning Cheng lived or died had nothing to do with the Severing Emotions Tao sect. Su Yingde was the most talented disciple of the Severing Emotions Tao sect, and this was the most important thing. I hope that Yingde can be ruthless enough to sever her emotions, and not really fall for it. The middle-aged female cultivator subconsciously spoke. Shi Qianghua spoke in a slow voice, "Yingde is my disciple, I know her very well. She will definitely succeed in severing her emotions, she is different from others, there is nothing that can shake her heart of cultivation." Compared to the laughter coming from the audience, Shen Buchuan on hearing Ning Cheng's words just gave a slight smile and spoke, "Thanks for the lesson." Saying that, he unexpectedly turned around and walked away, without saying anything to Ning Cheng. This person was a person who could endure, but Ning Cheng did not care about it. After Shen Buchuan went down, Ning Cheng stood on the battle ring and waited for a long time, but unexpectedly no one came up, causing him to feel a bit depressed in his heart. It seems that his fierce reputation had spread out. Go up, why is no one coming up to compete? If no one came up to compete with Ning Cheng, then the people who came to watch the excitement would not be able to watch the excitement. Some of the cultivators in the audience began to clamor, calling for people to come up to the stage. "Let me have a try." A crisp voice sounded out, as a female cultivator wearing a lilac-colored robe landed on the battle ring. "Senior apprentice Brother Ning, I am Lu Rumen from the Star Gathering Mansion, please enlighten me." The female cultivator cupped her fists towards Ning Cheng, before raising her hands and bringing out a pair of red swords. Ning Cheng nodded, "Star Gathering Mansion, I know." He was acquainted with the Star Gathering Mansion's Kong Cheng and Xin Hai, moreover he was the one who had saved them. "Although you are a friend of Senior Apprentice Brother Kong and Senior Apprentice Brother Xin, but I will not show any mercy, take this." The pair of red swords in Lu Rumen's hands transformed into a red smoke screen, completely binding Ning Cheng's surroundings within the red smoke screen. The pair of red swords in the middle of the red smoke screen formed into a huge red scissors. The scissors opened up, bringing with it a burst of cold killing intent. Ning Cheng, who was trapped inside, immediately felt that his true essence was not flowing smoothly. This woman really does not show even half a shred of mercy, Ning Cheng thought in his heart. For an ordinary profound core cultivator, in this kind of situation, it would be very difficult for them to escape. However, her cultivation was not even comparable to Ding Liang, as such it was not enough for Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng immediately brought out his profound break spear, bringing out 2 spear shadows, as he pointed it at the mouth of the huge red scissors. Ding dang, after 2 sounds, Ning Cheng was sent flying backwards, and landed on the other side of the battle ring a few feet away. Moreover, his breathing was also somewhat rapid. It seems that escaping from this huge red scissors was somewhat strenuous. You are already very good, to actually be able to escape from my sword-mouth crocodile. Then let me show you what a real sword skill is. Lu Rumen had originally thought that Ning Cheng had killed Ding Liang, but now that Ning Cheng was barely able to resist even a single move, she immediately calmed down in her heart. It seems that the rumors were not credible. Only by trying it out for herself would she know the depth of it. Ning Cheng found it funny in his heart. This woman's self-confidence was really strong. If not for him being afraid that if he struck her down, then no one would dare to come up again, how could Ning Cheng have the patience to tangle with her? Lu Rumen's pair of red swords once again transformed, forming a huge sword mouth that almost covered half of the battle ring, and with a kacha sound, she cut towards Ning Cheng. Just as the huge sword mouth was about to cut Ning Cheng into 2 halves, Ning Cheng seemed to have ignited his essence blood, and then rushed out of the sword mouth. The cultivators watching from the side of the battle ring secretly called out a pity. If Lu Rumen's cultivation was a little higher, she would have been able to bind Ning Cheng for a moment. Just a moment ago, Ning Cheng would have definitely died. Ning Cheng felt that it was almost enough. He raised his hand and grabbed a handful of talismans and threw them out. These were all rank 2 and rank 3 talismans. Innumerable wind blade talismans, fireball talismans, lightning talismans, condensing rain talismans, returning spring talismans exploded. The entire battle ring was instantly shrouded in a violent boom-boom sound. No one could even see the shadow of a person. Lu Rumen suddenly felt that it was funny. This guy was really a top-quality person, even using some rank 2 and rank 3 talismans to deal with her. These kinds of talismans to her were not even comparable to a mosquito bite. Not to mention this guy even took out the best quality condensing rain talismans and returning spring talismans. Was this a cornered dog jumping over the wall? Just as Lu Rumen was about to grab the talismans, and grab Ning Cheng's neck, she felt a sharp pain in her buttocks. A strong force came through, and the next moment, she flew out as if she was riding on a cloud. At this moment, she was unexpectedly unable to circulate her true essence. Bang! Lu Rumen was lying on her stomach under the battle ring. Her face was flushed red. She had been kicked in the buttocks, causing her to be defeated. This kind of defeat made her feel depressed and shameful. In her view, Ning Cheng's moves were completely shameless. Using countless talismans to interfere with her spiritual consciousness, and then sneak attacking her buttocks with a kick. This guy has a lot of talismans, moreover they are all low-level talismans. I think this is a good idea, but it's a pity that this method wastes too many talismans. This guy has a lot of spirit stones. You do not know how many spirit stones he earned in the exchange hall. All kinds of discussions sounded out, but what made Lu Rumen feel a little relieved in her heart was that none of these discussions were talking about her. This made the red flush on Lu Rumen's face gradually fade. Just as Lu Rumen was about to rush towards the battle ring again, someone had already rushed up in front of her. It was a profound core 9th level red-haired cultivator. Red Sun Weapon Sect's Shiyong has come to ask for advice. As Shiyong spoke, a set of silver armor emerged over his body. Then a huge umbrella-shaped magical weapon appeared over his head, while a round shield magical weapon appeared in front of his body. You don't have to take out those low-level talismans. I have defensive magical weapons all over my body. Even if I let you use your low-level talismans to smash them for a day, you would not be able to break them. Shiyong, on seeing Ning Cheng staring at the defensive magical weapons around him in a daze, spoke up with a somewhat proud smile. So powerful. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. He really felt that this sentence was quite powerful. Bringing out 3 or 4 defensive magical weapons at the same time, it also required a powerful spiritual consciousness to match. This Red Sun Weapon Sect truly had some tricks up their sleeves. It looks like he would need to go and learn from them in the future. Shiyong no longer spoke, as a giant seal the size of a hill smashed down on top of Ning Cheng's head. Chapter 297. After the explosion of the talisman, Ning Cheng once again took out another talisman and threw it out. The cultivators on the sidelines were speechless. Just how many low-level talismans did this Ning Cheng have? Humph. Talisman. Try hitting me with a low-level talisman. Only an idiot would think that Ning Cheng relies on talismans. Ning Cheng, you did a good job this time. The most important thing is that you know when to advance and when to retreat. I was afraid that you would not know when to advance and when to retreat, and would stay on the battle ring. Rui Baishan was very satisfied with Ning Cheng's performance on the battle ring. Ning Cheng once again returned to the battle platform. As he looked at the match on the stage and spoke in a somewhat lazy manner, this kind of lukewarm water competition, it really is not exciting at all. It's Leng Yu, ranked 3rd in the preliminary round. He's an expert from the Natural Law School. There will be a good show to watch this time. The Rainbow Falls Sword Sect's Deputy Sect Master Tan Tai Fei gave a hearty laugh. Good, this replacement is really good, but Ning Cheng should also come down. I didn't know he could win so many times in a row, so I didn't tell him some details. This was already Ning Cheng's 13th win in a row, but Ning Cheng found that something was wrong, because the interval between the people coming up was getting longer and longer. He had planned to win 80 matches in a row, but if things continued like this, it would be difficult for him to win 20 matches in a row. Heavenly Dao Academy's Leng Yu has come to ask for advice. This blue-robed cultivator simply cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng as he spoke with an indifferent expression. Saying that, Ning Cheng simply ignored Leng Yu's surprised look, and took the initiative to step down from the battle ring. Defeating Leng Yu was obviously not a problem. The problem was that he even defeated the cultivator ranked 3rd. Who would dare to challenge him in the future? Moreover, because Lu Rumen and Shi Yong were blasted out of the battle ring by Ning Cheng, and did not suffer even half a shred of injury, the number of people coming up to the battle ring to challenge Ning Cheng also increased. Warm water. In a while, in the competition for the last 10 places, you will see what a life and death battle is. The cultivators on the stage are all fighting to the death. At this time they are just trying to obtain the qualifications for the final battle. Liang Kersen, who was standing beside Ning Cheng, explained. On the stage, Leng Yu had already won 2 matches in a row. It was obvious that he was going to win the 3rd match. Ning Cheng suddenly felt a little dispirited. Even in this kind of big competition, there was only a virtual essence birthing bamboo pith, causing him to feel happy for nothing. Only he knew in his heart that Ning Cheng was definitely not as simple as he looked on the surface. He was sure that Ning Cheng's talisman would not have even the slightest effect on him, but the reason why Ning Cheng used the talisman was because he was afraid that he would show off too much power, and no one would come up to the stage. Hearing the words of this crucible transformation elder, the cultivator called Jin Lin forcibly suppressed his own killing intent. Although he did not fear Ning Cheng, but he still had to listen to the words of a crucible transformation elder. After Leng Yu stepped down from the stage, another golden-robed cultivator flew onto the stage. Red Star Sword Faction's Jin Lin, I would like to ask for your advice. Rui Baishan shook his head and spoke. The essence birthing bamboo pith is such a precious thing, how could it be casually taken out as a reward? That was just a bluff. Don't take it seriously. Not to mention the fact that no cultivator can win 80 matches, even if you can win, you will eventually be interrupted by others for various reasons. But I've won 50 matches before. This profound core cultivator spoke up in a puzzled manner. Senior apprentice brother Jiang, in the preliminary round of the profound core realm, I was evaluated to be ranked 9th. I've taken a look. So far, the one with the highest cultivation is only ranked around 30. Why did Ning Cheng go up again? Even Elder Bei and the others who had just spoken to Ning Cheng were somewhat puzzled. Ning Cheng and the Red Star Sword faction had a conflict, as such it was not suitable for him to go up at this time. Since the Heavenly Dao Academy's Leng Yu came up, it means that he is not satisfied with you. Fortunately, you came down in time, and took care of everyone's face. Even if you want to fight with Leng Yu, you are not in a hurry. Wait for the other major academies to obtain a certain number of points, then you can go and compete. Tan Tai Fei also spoke with a smile. Ning Cheng had obtained 14 points for the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, which was already considered as one of the great contributors. Even the Crucible Transformation elders here were all very kind towards Ning Cheng. Then the crowd saw Ning Cheng sneak behind Shi Yong amidst the countless exploding talismans, and sweep out with his spear. It was a very simple process, but Shi Yong did not notice it at all. Elder Bei patted Ning Cheng's shoulder and spoke with a smile. "This is very normal. After your consecutive victories on the stage, the other 9 major academies rarely sent their top experts up. This is a kind of tacit understanding. Otherwise, if the experts from the major academies were to fight it out, then there would not be much excitement in the later stages. Now that the great meet of the academies has formed this kind of tacit understanding is recognized by everyone. That is why the headmaster said that it was a good thing for you to come down in time." As for the competition for the first place, when there are only a dozen or so people left, only then would they go all out. Ning Cheng would always use the same set of techniques, the ice attribute profound ice spear art, coupled with countless low-level talismans. Whenever anyone came up to the stage, Ning Cheng would always use the profound ice spear art to entangle the other party, and then take the opportunity to sprinkle out a handful of profound ice talismans, and then successfully launch a sneak attack. Finally, he would sweep the other party off the stage. This was already the same old routine. But this set of methods was a tried and tested method. Even some of the judging elders were frowning. The Tian continent's great meet of the academies, in fact, was mainly to select the top 10 academies. Moreover, these rules had been settled down for countless years, and were known to all the academies. The rules of the tournament were not only worth watching, but were also something to look forward to. Looking forward to who would have the most victories in the end, and who would finally take the first place. When Ning Cheng heard the words of the elders from the academy, he immediately spoke up. "In fact, it would be very difficult for anyone to obtain 50 points, and I was even thinking about the essence birthing bamboo pith. Those bastards from the Red Star Sword faction." Ning Cheng, without any hesitation, once again flew up to the battle platform. Liang Kursen did not even have the time to call out. Some of the cultivators who knew him came up to ask him, but he just shook his head and spoke. "I was not careful and ended up getting sneak attacked." All the people present understood the meaning of Tan Tai Fei's words. Ning Cheng now had 14 points. Even if he did not take even a single point, this score was more than enough to reverse the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's disadvantage. As for Ning Cheng coming down, it was just an unspoken rule that everyone was aware of. Ning Cheng saw that Leng Yu had really won 7 consecutive rounds, and with an expressionless face, descended from the battle platform. The only thing that made everyone feel acceptable was that Ning Cheng's true essence was limited, although he had thrown all the people off the battle platform, but there was no one who was truly injured. As soon as Ning Cheng came down, Elder Bei immediately called Ning Cheng over. Ning Cheng waited for a while, but still no one came up. Just as he was feeling depressed in his heart, a young man wearing a blue robe landed on the battle platform. Ning Cheng looked at Leng Yu, and immediately knew that this person was a lot stronger than the previous profound core cultivators. Humph, this kid really thinks that he is the best under the heavens. Some of the top-ranked profound core cultivators were already feeling uncomfortable in their hearts. They had not even fought a single round, yet this guy had already come up on the stage. Did they still want to give out points to others? No wonder Liang Kursen had said that the first place was the winner. Moreover, what kind of reward would be given out based on the number of points? Ning Cheng still did not understand and asked, "If that is the case, then why did you set the reward for a net win of 50 or 80? What do you mean by knowing when to advance and when to retreat?" Ning Cheng asked with some doubts. When Ning Cheng came down from the battle platform with 13 consecutive victories, a lot of people were feeling somewhat unhappy. It was reasonable to say that this was the time to see who was more powerful between Ning Cheng and Leng Yu, yet Ning Cheng unexpectedly took the initiative to come down. 50 points is very difficult for people to obtain, but 30 points is not the first time someone has obtained it. Liang Kursen explained. Ning Cheng had come up too quickly before, causing her to not have enough time to explain. Although many people knew about the tacit understanding between the academies, but more than 90% of the cultivators in the audience did not care about this. What they cared about was the level of excitement of the tournament. Now that Ning Cheng had come up on the stage, it immediately attracted a burst of enthusiasm. A crucible transformation elder spoke up from the side. What Jiang Jun said is right, you are not a match for that Ning Cheng. That Ning Cheng's skill is more than enough to enter the top 3, he could even enter the first place. He does not care about the feelings of the other academies, as he grinds for points, there would always be someone who would go up and deal with him first. However, they had now met a fellow who did not play his cards according to common sense. It was still far from the final stage to see who was more powerful, yet this Ning Cheng had already violated the rules. The problem was that even if they knew that Ning Cheng had violated the rules, they still had no reason to come out and stop the other party. Ning Cheng was defeated in such a hypocritical way, he was still excited to win a bottle of essence birthing bamboo pith, he did not expect that he would be met with such a bucket of cold water. With Shi Yong also being blasted down by Ning Cheng, the cultivators watching the tournament all knew that Ning Cheng seemed to have a few tricks up his sleeves. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness was very powerful, as such he was able to hear these discussions. Instead, he cupped his fists towards Leng Yu and spoke, "Elder brother Leng looks very powerful, I might not necessarily be his opponent, I also want to go down and rest." Even a high-level expert would not be able to block a handful of talismans. After all the people saw the long spear in Ning Cheng's hands, countless talismans were blasted out. In the midst of the dense explosions of the low-level talismans, the sound of the true essence explosions from the two people's magical weapons became insignificant. Red Star Sword Faction's Jiang Jun stopped a profound core cultivator covered in a murderous aura from rushing up the battle ring. Junior apprentice brother Jin Lin, don't go up. This person is pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger, you are definitely not his opponent. The hatred between me and him is as deep as the sea, I will definitely look for an opportunity to kill him. Bang! Even if Shi Yong was wearing a silver armor, Ning Cheng's spear almost broke all of his bones. Just like Lu Rumen, he was directly swept off the battle ring. Even his few defensive magical weapons also fell to his side. After Shi Yong got up, he just patted the dust off his body and put away his magical weapons, while his face was very calm. Ning Cheng had shown mercy, he was very clear in his heart. Ning Cheng did not know that he had provoked the anger of the crowd, but he was aware that he had violated the unwritten rules. Even so, Ning Cheng was not the slightest bit afraid. In any case, after the tournament, he would fly away to a faraway place, so why would he care about the north, south, east or west? Regardless of the outcome of the tournament, as long as he took the prize and left, everything else would have nothing to do with him. The 10 major academies, as well as some of the cultivators who are qualified to be promoted to the 10 major academies, after winning a certain number of matches in a row, they will take the initiative to come down, leaving some points for the others. The real competition for the first place in the Profound Core realm will only start when there are only a dozen or so people left. The last person standing on the battle ring, without anyone challenging him, will be the first. Although in most cases, the first place will be the one with the highest score, but this is not absolute. Elder Bei explained. Chapter 298. I have long wanted to teach you a lesson, now that you are courting death, then I will fulfill your wish. Jin Lin's mouth revealed a trace of ferociousness, as he raised his hand and shot a blue sword shadow towards Ning Cheng. When the sword shadow shot out, it was just a blue sword chi, but in the blink of an eye, Ning Cheng was completely surrounded by wave after wave of sword line waves. Ning Cheng immediately knew that Jin Lin was much more powerful than all the cultivators he had fought before on this stage. Moreover, the other party's sword line waves were a bit similar to his axe line. This kind of true essence killing intent was the most difficult to form. Ning Cheng had a deep understanding of the axe intent, as such he obviously understood this point. At the same time, Ning Cheng's profound break spear trembled, as the 36 profound ice sword shadows shot out. Chong chong. Dense killing intents collided with each other on the battle ring, as the dense sword lines fell onto the spear light net formed by Ning Cheng's 36 profound ice spears, and were unable to advance even an inch further. Ning Cheng's spear light net was unexpectedly able to block his sword lines. Jin Lin could not believe it. He crazily stimulated his true essence, as wave after wave of sword lines bombarded Ning Cheng's spear light net. Boom! The sword line waves finally burst open, completely tearing apart Ning Cheng's 36 profound ice spear light net. The powerful true essence backlash caused Jin Lin to retreat a few steps back. Ning Cheng did not move, but in his heart he had some admiration for Jin Lin's strength. For ordinary profound core cultivators, for them to cultivate to the level of Jin Lin, it would not be an exaggeration to say that they would have few opponents on the same level. But Jin Lin's complexion changed. He had crazily stimulated the sword line waves a moment ago, but unexpectedly could not even shake Ning Cheng in the slightest. This Ning Cheng was simply too terrifying. It was clear that Jiang Jun and the Crucible Transformation Elder were not wrong. Ning Cheng's strength was definitely much more powerful than him. Take my sword again. As Jin Lin spoke, the blue sword in his hand directly cut through the air, as the blue sword brought out a wide sword light that was more than 10 feet long. The might of this sword light seemed to be able to split the entire arena apart, and everything under this sword light would be turned into powder by the sword light. A blood chi gushed out from the top of Jin Lin's head. Even a fool would know that Jin Lin's sword had the potential to the point that he did not even hesitate to burn his essence blood. From this, it could be seen that he would not rest until he killed Ning Cheng. Break for me! Jin Lin roared again while the huge sword light was still in the air. He had already deeply experienced Ning Cheng's strength and knew that if he did not use his trump card, then he would not be able to do anything to Ning Cheng. Cat-ka, boom! The blue sword light exploded onto the spear light net that Ning Cheng had just condensed, giving out a cracking sound. The 36 profound ice spear shadows were blown away, but Ning Cheng, who was burning his essence blood, was forced to retreat a few steps. But at this time, not only did the blue sword light not dim, but it also extended and widened. The violent sword intent that swept down seemed to want to shred Ning Cheng into pieces before it stopped. Ning Cheng turned furious. He did not put Jin Lin in his eyes, yet this fellow really thought that he could kill him by burning his essence blood. The profound break spear trembled, as it gave out intermittent whimpering sounds. Some of the cultivators with high cultivation were very clear that the whimpering sounds coming from Ning Cheng's profound break spear, in addition to the stimulation of the spear intent, was also mainly due to the cracks on the spear head. If the spear head did not have any cracks, then the strength of this spear would have more than doubled. Boom! The profound ice spear exploded on top of the descending blue sword light, bringing with it a burst of berserk true essence vortex. Jin Lin's chest felt stifled, as his true essence started to tumble, and he could not help but spurt out a mouthful of essence blood. When he saw that Ning Cheng did not retreat even half a step, and the spear in his hands once again condensed into a spear-light blade, his heart immediately sank. At this moment, he fully understood that the difference between him and Ning Cheng was not just a little bit, it was not even on the same level, it was just like the gap between the profound core realm and the soul essence realm. Although he was evaluated as the 9th, but in his heart, even Len Yu, who was ranked 3rd, was not necessarily more powerful than him. But he, unexpectedly had such a big gap between him and Ning Cheng. Thinking of the gap between the profound core realm and the soul essence realm, Jin Lin's heart turned cold. How was this possible? Was this person hiding his cultivation? He was already a soul essence realm cultivator, so why did he choose to hide his cultivation in the profound core realm? Just as these thoughts flashed through his mind, the long spear had already arrived in front of Jin Lin's glabella, as if it had passed through a thin layer of paper. Despair and fear welled up in Jin Lin's heart, but this kind of emotion was instantly engulfed by a kind of darkness, before it disappeared without a trace. Pata! Jin Lin's body fell to the ground like a ball of rags. The surroundings immediately turned silent, although everyone did not know the rules, but they were very clear that no matter what level of competition it was, the more it progressed, the more interesting it would be. Now that the profound core realm competition had just started, it was already so exciting. One of the top 10 academies, the Red Star Sword faction, a cultivator who was evaluated as the 9th in the preliminary round was killed with a single spear strike. After a moment of silence, it was accompanied by bursts of enthusiastic roars and applause. The cultivators watching the fight did not care about who you were, what they wanted to see was hot blood and excitement. The Red Star Sword faction's crucible transformation elder Tang Gongshi clenched his fists. He could not wait to immediately step onto the stage and kill Ning Cheng. The Red Star Sword faction had a total of 2 profound core cultivators who entered the preliminary round, which was the lowest among the top 10 academies. But now these 2 profound core cultivators were both killed by Ning Cheng. Leng Yu of the Natural Law School, come up and have a try. Leng Yu, who had just left the arena, unexpectedly went up for the second time. This was something that was impossible to happen in the previous competitions, but it had actually happened. Now not only did Ning Cheng ignore the tacit understanding of the tournament, but the other academies also began to ignore this tacit understanding. All the people present were aware that the finals of the Profound Core realm had already begun ahead of time. Ning Cheng's actions aroused the dissatisfaction of the Profound Core experts from the other academies, but this kind of dissatisfaction could only be resolved through the tournament platform. Whoever had the bigger fist would speak. I came up just now, and you went down. I hope you don't go down again this time, lest I have to come up again the next time you come up. Leng Yu's tone was icy cold, overflowing with killing intent. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. You think too highly of yourself. The reason I went down was because I was afraid that no one would dare to challenge me again. Since I can't get 80 points no matter what, there's no need to keep going up and down. It's so troublesome. Arrogant. Leng Yu mocked. At the same time, his hand trembled slightly. Ning Cheng did not see any kind of magical weapon, nor did he see any kind of sneak attack, but he could feel an icy cold killing intent shrouding him. At this time, Ning Cheng's powerful spiritual consciousness manifested itself, as a faintly discernible thin thread, like a long knife, swept towards Ning Cheng. With such a powerful killing intent, Ning Cheng was sure that even if his strength was equivalent to a late-stage soul essence cultivator, once he was caught by this thin thread, he would end up in 2 halves. Ning Cheng was shocked in his heart. Sure enough, no cultivator could be underestimated. Leng Yu was just a profound core cultivator, yet he was able to bring out a magical weapon that even an ordinary spiritual consciousness could not detect. This person simply had the strength of an early-stage soul essence cultivator. He was definitely an expert who could jump ranks to challenge others. Once Ning Cheng seriously dealt with Leng Yu, even if there were a few Leng Yes, it would not be enough for Ning Cheng to kill. Leng Yu's thin thread had not yet split into 2, when Ning Cheng's profound break spear had already wrapped around the thin thread. At the same time, the profound break spear in Ning Cheng's hands also began to move a few times. The thin thread, which even spiritual consciousness could not detect, was instantly wrapped around by Ning Cheng's profound break spear and swept away. Even if Leng Yu forcibly used his spiritual sense to retrieve his magical weapon, it was like mud entering the sea, without any trace. A killing intense space suddenly formed around Leng Yu, causing his heart to turn cold in an instant. Ning Cheng had used a broken middle-grade spiritual artifact to take away his best quality spiritual artifact, while also trapping him within. At this time, if Ning Cheng wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping his palm. He would not even have the slightest ability to resist. How could a profound core cultivator be powerful to such a degree? Even in the hands of a soul essence cultivator, he could still communicate with his drifting space mist line. Now that Ning Cheng had taken away his flowing space mist thread, he had no way to communicate with it. It was laughable that when he had first stepped onto the stage, he was still thinking about how to teach Ning Cheng a lesson, and then coldly spoke to Ning Cheng, for the sake of senior apprentice brother Li Lingfan's face, I will not kill you, so don't take yourself too seriously. However, at this moment, he felt that the situation was completely the opposite. At this moment, he did not dare to move. He knew that if Ning Cheng wanted to kill him at this time, he simply could not do anything about it. He could only resign himself to fate and wait for Ning Cheng's decision. For the sake of Li Lingfan's face, I will not kill you, you can go down now. Ning Qing calmly spoke out the words that Len Yu had wanted to say before. Although he let Len Yu go, but he did not return Len Yu's magical weapon, the drifting space mist line. Len Yu's face turned ashen as he walked down the battle ring, without even half a shred of his previous arrogance. How is this possible? Did Len Yu lose? Len Yu was ranked third in the preliminary round of the Profound Core Realm. How could he lose? Moreover, how could he lose so easily? Nothing is impossible. It can only be said that this Ning Cheng is much more powerful than what everyone imagined. Let's make a guess. Is it the second-ranked disciple of the Severing Emotions Dao sect, Deng Xiaoya, or is it the first-ranked disciple of the Thousand Zen Monastery, Nie Xingxian? A delicate and pretty girl from the Severing Emotions Dao sect was pulled back by another female cultivator, junior apprentice Sister Xiaoya. You are currently not Ning Cheng's opponent, do not go up. Moreover, Ning Cheng has also saved my life. Maybe in the future, he might even be the person that senior apprentice Sister Ying Dai fell in love with. You do not have to come up. Yes, senior apprentice Sister Bu, after the girl called Bu Mei replied, she did not move again. Thousand Zen Monastery's disciple Nie Xingxian has come to ask for advice from elder brother Ning. A monk with a few scars on his head landed on the battle ring. Ning Cheng looked at Nie Xingxian in doubt and spoke, "Are you a monk, or a monk?" Nie Xingxian touched his bald head in a simple and honest manner and spoke, "Yes, I am a monk." "Since you are a monk, then why do you still want to compete with others?" Ning Cheng asked. If it was before, he would definitely not have spoken such nonsense. But now Ning Cheng knew that even if he defeated Nie Xingxian, it would still be impossible for him to obtain 80 points. As for whether Nie Xingxian would fight or not, it simply did not matter. "What you said is also true." Nie Xingxian replied in a simple and honest manner. The next moment he brought out a gray-colored Buddhist staff. The Buddhist staff brought out millions of staff shadows, as it pounced towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng did not expect that Nie Xingxian, who looked so simple and honest, would actually be so shameless and cunning. Chapter 299. Nie Xingxian's attack clearly showed that he wanted to use his powerful true essence to crush Ning Cheng, but Ning Cheng simply did not even bother to dodge, not to mention bringing out a defensive magical weapon. The profound break spear also rolled up the imposing aura of true essence, before exploding forward. Some of the cultivators with high cultivations could see that Ning Cheng wanted to go head-to-head with Nie Xingxian. Boom boom boom. The Buddhist staff and the profound break spear collided together, causing a terrifying true essence vortex to erupt out. This kind of true essence vortex began to swirl around the battle ring, such that even the cultivators below the battle ring could clearly see it. Some of the cultivators with not very high cultivations could see that Ning Cheng and Nie Xingxian's true essence seemed to be on par with each other. Only Nie Xingxian, who was personally involved in the fight, knew that Ning Cheng's true essence was much more powerful than his own. Ning Cheng's profound break spear was only a medium-grade spiritual artifact. Moreover, he could feel that Ning Cheng had wrapped the profound break spear with a layer of true essence, as if he was afraid that the spear would be damaged. Even so, he did not gain the slightest advantage. Nie Xingxian suddenly waved the Buddhist staff in his hand, and instantly pulled it out from the terrifying vortex of true essence. At the same time, more than a dozen staff shadows appeared, and these staff shadows actually formed a rudimentary confinement array. Ning Cheng simply stopped and continued with his actions. With his ability, he could instantly prevent Nie Xingxian's staff shadow array formation from forming. However, he really wanted to see what was so special about the staff shadow array formed by the monk. The magic skills of some large sects were very powerful. It was always a good thing to know more. Today it was Nie Xingxian who had used the staff shadow array formation on him. If in the future it was replaced by a soul essence cultivator, or even a soul sculpting cultivator, then it would not be easy for him to deal with them. "Brother Ning, why don't you make a move?" Seeing Ning Cheng holding the profound break spear, and quietly waiting for his own staff shadow array formation to take shape, while Nie Xingxian's staff shadow gradually dissipated, he also stopped and asked in doubt. Ning Qing really did not know whether this Nie Xingxian was really honest or really cunning, as he spoke up in a speechless manner. I'm waiting for you to start, you don't have to worry about me, just start. Alright. Nie Xingxian replied with a single word, and then suddenly added another sentence. Brother Ning, just a moment ago, how much of your strength did you use? 20%. Ning Qing spoke with a smile. He was sure that this monk would never believe his words. 20% of his true essence, unexpectedly made me unable to advance even an inch, so powerful. Nie Xingxian muttered to himself, unexpectedly believing Ning Cheng's words. After Nie Xingxian finished talking to himself, he put away his Buddhist staff and said, I am not an opponent for Brother Ning, many thanks for Brother Ning's mercy. You believe me? Ning Cheng looked at Nie Xingxian and asked in a somewhat puzzled manner. In his opinion, Nie Xingxian had a simple face but was actually a treacherous one, so how could he believe his words? Nie Xingxian quickened his pace as he walked down the battle ring, while simultaneously speaking, Brother Ning's words, this little monk naturally believes them. As Nie Xingxian walked down the battle arena, many of the spectating cultivators failed to react. Originally they were looking forward to a showdown between a dragon and a tiger, but Nie Xingxian, who was ranked first in the preliminary round, had only exchanged a single move with Ning Cheng, before taking the initiative to admit defeat and step down from the stage. Or rather, he was scared away by Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng held on to his profound break spear in a somewhat depressed manner, as he stood in the middle of the battle ring. He knew that there would not be anyone else coming up to the stage for a short period of time. But he definitely wouldn't go down. Since he wanted something good, he had to persevere. After Nie Xingxian went down, sure enough, no one came up. Although there were still many cultivators in the preliminary round who had yet to fight, but no one came up. When a person's cultivation was far more powerful than those in the same realm, moreover this person did not care about the tacit understanding between the academies, the loopholes in the rules of the finals could be seen at a glance. Despite the heckling of the spectating cultivators under the battle ring, no one was willing to come up to the battle ring and fight against Ning Cheng. No one was willing to witness the bloody battle in the finals, as such no cultivator would feel comfortable. Headmaster, why don't we let Liangshi come up to the stage and call Ning Cheng down? A crucible transformation elder from the Rainbow Fall Sword sect really could not stand it anymore. Rui Baishan shook his head and spoke, let him be, Ning Cheng already knows the rules, yet he still chose to stay up there and not come down, presumably he has his own ideas. Elder Bei, you come with me. Elder Bei was also very worried about Ning Cheng. Now that the headmaster had called for him, he immediately followed Rui Baishan to a private room. Elder Bei, you have the most contact with Ning Cheng, how much do you know about Ning Cheng? Speak it out. Rui Baishan went straight to the point. Elder Bei hesitated for a moment, before he shook his head and spoke, I don't know much about Ning Cheng, I only know a bit about him from Ning Cheng's friend, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's true inheriting disciple Yang Kursen. Later on, I also went to investigate some of the circumstances, and came to the conclusion that Ning Cheng had gone to the Mirage Gazing Island. If I did not guess wrong, then Ning Cheng should have gone to the Mirage Ship Island. His 9-colored Mirage Stone should be something that he obtained from the Mirage Ship Island. On the Mirage Ship Island, to be able to find the 9-colored Mirage Tree, it would definitely require a huge amount of luck. Since Ning Cheng was able to obtain a 9-colored Mirage Stone, then it shows that he might have the remaining 8 9-colored Mirage Stones. Rui Baishan nodded. Headmaster. Elder Bei looked at the headmaster in surprise. Rui Baishan waved his hand and spoke, Elder Bei, you don't have to worry about it, even if each of the 9-colored Mirage Stones is a priceless treasure, I will not covet the things of a disciple. Since Ning Cheng obtained so much at once, then presumably he would have his own ideas. If I have not guessed wrong, then after this tournament, Ning Cheng would definitely choose to flee to a faraway place. It is precisely because he has already made up his mind, that he would definitely stand on the battle platform, and force out the prizes. Headmaster, why don't I go and persuade Ning Cheng, to let him come down, and then go back to the academy to go into seclusion? Elder Bei hesitated for a moment before speaking. Rui Baishan shook his head slightly. If Ning Qing only obtained a 9-colored mirage stone, then your method would be quite good. However, if Ning Qing obtained the 9 mirage stones, then even if Ning Qing went into seclusion, there would still be countless people who would come looking for the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Although my Rainbow Fall Sword sect is not afraid of anyone's threats, but it is simply impossible for us to fight against so many academies. Ning Qing choosing to leave the academy is the right choice. I'm afraid that Ning Qing would bring endless disasters to the academy. Elder Bei spoke in a worried voice. Rui Baishan stood up, as he gave a calm smile and spoke, my Rainbow Fall Sword sect has been established for countless years. What kind of wind and rain we have gone through, why would we be afraid of some thieves? Saying that, Rui Baishan took out a jade box and handed it to Elder Bei and spoke, there is an escape talisman in here. After Ning Qing comes down from the battle ring, you can help me give it to him. I can only help him with this much. Do you want to tell Ning Qing to let him leave as soon as possible? Elder Bei put away the jade box and asked. Rui Baishan gave a faint smile and spoke, he will know when to leave. Ning Qing had already stood on the battle ring for a full hour, but there was still no one who came up to challenge him. At this time Ning Qing even took out a chair and sat down in the middle of the battle ring. The finals of the Profound Core realm had already reached this point. It was no longer wonderful, but rather a farce. No matter where it was, at this moment, there was a lot of noise, as people were talking about it. At this time, a black-bearded old man flew up and landed on the battle ring. Ning Qing on seeing this, quickly put away his chair. These past few days he had seen a lot of experts. This old man was giving off a powerful aura, allowing Ning Qing to immediately understand that this person was a powerhouse not inferior to Xiao Bisheng. This kind of powerhouse could turn him into ashes in a matter of seconds. Ning Qing greets senior. Ning Qing quickly gave a respectful bow to the old man. The black-bearded old man looked at Ning Qing and gave a meaningful smile, then nodded, before turning to the quiet crowd under the stage and spoke, I am the Heaven Alliance's Dao Master Mu Ziming, and am also one of the judges for this Tian Continent's Great Meet of the Academies. From this Profound Core Realm tournament, it can be seen that there are some loopholes in the rules of the Tian Continent's Great Meet of the Academies. After this Great Meet, we will have to reformulate the rules of the Great Meet of the Academies. The people under the stage immediately burst into a sensation. Even if there was no wonderful match, this matter was already wonderful enough. Unexpectedly, because of the strength of a profound core cultivator, the rules of the Tian Continent's Great Meet of the Academies had to be changed. Mu Ziming used his hand to suppress the noise, and continued, now I announce that for this Tian Continent's Great Meet of the Academies, Ning Qing is the first in the Profound Core Realm. Are there any cultivators who have any objections? If there are any objections, then come up to the stage. If there are no objections, then it is decided. Ning Qing being the first, there was no one who had any objections. Ning Qing had defeated several powerful experts, and looked very relaxed, as if he did not even put his life on the line. Who would be willing to fight against such a person? Everyone knew that this Tian Continent's Great Meet of the Academies would set a record that no one would be able to break. If the rules of the tournament were changed because of a single cultivator, then there was a possibility that it would be broken. However, the Great Meet had only gone through less than half of the tournament, and yet the first place had already been decided. Moreover, no one had any objections to this first place, which was absolutely unprecedented in history, and most likely would not be broken by any of the later generations. The public square that had just quietened down, once again became noisy because of this matter. Although we have decided on the first place, but the following matches still have to be carried out, and we still have to compete for the other rankings. Mu Ziming's voice suppressed the noise of the entire public square, saying that he turned around and looked at Ning Qing with a smile. What do you think? Ning Qing quickly bowed once again and spoke, Dao Master's decision. Ning Qing naturally has no objections. It's just that I originally wanted a bottle of essence birthing bamboo pith. It doesn't matter, just tell me what you need. Mu Ziming gave a simple reply. Ning Qing also no longer remained polite. Senior, this junior only wants a top-quality soul condensing pill, plus a bottle of essence birthing bamboo pith. I do not want anything else. Although Ning Qing knew that in front of a Dao master, it was very dangerous for him to speak at this moment, but in order to escape in the future, he had no choice but to do so. Just these two? Mu Ziming asked with some doubts. He had thought that Ning Cheng would definitely be asking for an exorbitant price. Although Ning Cheng's request for the essence birthing bamboo pith was also like an exorbitant price, but it was much better than what he had expected, which gave him a good impression in his heart. Just these two? Ning Cheng spoke with certainty. Mu Ziming nodded, I'll give you these two. Saying that, Mu Ziming took out 2 jade bottles and threw them to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to receive them and put them away. Many thanks, senior. In the future, if this junior has the ability, then I will definitely repay today's kindness. Ning Cheng was not a fool, he was able to understand the meaning behind Mu Ziming's words. These two things were not provided by the Lu continent's great meat, but rather were provided by Mu Ziming himself. Besides, even if it was provided by the great meat, they would not give out the prizes at this time. You can go down now, take care of yourself. Yes. After Ning Cheng cupped his fists, he quickly withdrew from the battle platform. Ning Cheng had changed the rules of the great meat for many years, and even let a Dao master personally come up to the stage to invite him down. It was enough to cause a sensation throughout the Tian continent. Because of Ning Cheng's departure, the Profound Core Division's battle platform once again started to fight. The Tian continent's top 10 academies also meant a lot of resources, as such no one was willing to fall behind. Moreover, as the competition continued, it was also getting more and more exciting. Ning Cheng immediately prepared to leave after coming down from the battle platform. As for whether Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde would leave with him, he simply did not care. Chapter 300. What Ning Cheng did not expect was that when he won the first place for the academy, not only did not an elder come to see him, but the first person to come to see him was unexpectedly Xian Saixue. Regarding the name of Xian Saixue, Ning Cheng had heard it from Elder Bei. The reason why he was able to participate in the tournament was because he had replaced Xian Saixue's quota. Senior apprentice brother Ning, this is what Elder Bei asked me to bring to you, it is a reward from the headmaster. Xian Saixue handed a jade box to Ning Cheng and spoke. Then I will go and thank the headmaster and Elder Bei. Ning Cheng received the jade box and spoke. Xian Saixue quickly stopped Ning Cheng and spoke, no, I heard that headmaster and the others are discussing a very important matter, and are not free right now. Ning Cheng had been in the true cultivation world for many years, and was also a smart person. As soon as Xian Saixue said those words, he knew something was wrong. This was the most crucial time for the Profound Core Division's tournament, moreover he had just won the first place, as such the academy would not discuss such an important matter at this time. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng immediately opened the jade box to take a look. When Ning Cheng discovered that the jade box contained an advanced level escaping talisman, he completely understood. Sovereign Rui Baishan had given him an escape talisman, not only as a reward, but also as a reminder to him. That was to leave as soon as possible. There was no need to linger. Ning Cheng quickly put away the jade box, and spoke to Xian Saixue, many thanks junior apprentice sister Xian, I was able to obtain the first place thanks to your quota. Here is a pill for you. If there is a reward for the first place, I will have to trouble senior sister Xian to help me collect it. If not, then forget it. I have something urgent to attend to. After Ning Cheng gave the top-quality soul-condensing pills that he had obtained from Su Yingde to Xian Saixue, he hurriedly left the place. He was not even in the mood to meet Liang Kersen. Xian Saixue opened the jade bottle in her hand in doubt. When she saw that there was a soul-concentrating pill in the jade bottle, her hand almost trembled. This kind of pill was simply too precious. She had just given up a spot, yet Ning Cheng actually gave her such a precious pill. Ning Cheng found a place with no one around, and immediately left using stealth. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, he turned into a street corner. After a few breaths, a short gray shadow quickly rushed out from the corner of the street and quickly entered another street. It wasn't unusual for a small pet beast to suddenly leave its owner on the streets. It happened every day. Some were captured, while others managed to escape. However, this small gray thing was extremely fast. In a short time, it had left the plaza. This was a pet beast that hadn't even reached level 3. Many people with high cultivation levels had seen it, but no one was so bored as to capture such a low-level pet beast that didn't even look like much. Of course, this was also because the pet beast was running too fast. If it had been a little slower, people might have actually chased after it. Ning Cheng had just left when Su Yingde of the Severing Emotions Dao sect arrived. Senior apprentice brother Ning had some urgent matters to attend to and had to leave. Why don't I wait for senior apprentice brother Ning to come back, and then send you a message? Xian Saixuan, hearing that they were looking for Ning Cheng, quickly came up to greet them. Ning Cheng had just given her a soul-condensing pill. This kind of kindness was not just a small one or two. At this time, how could she still feel even half a bit depressed? In her heart, she was just glad that she had stood up before Liangshi, and gave up the spot to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng left? Another voice arrived, but the one who spoke was not Su Yingde, but rather Yin Kongchan, who was following closely behind Su Yingde. Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde glanced at each other, before they left the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect station together, leaving behind a puzzled Xian Saixue. If senior apprentice sister Luo Zian was the most beautiful woman in the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect, then Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde's appearance could even surpass senior apprentice sister Zian. But these two stunning women unexpectedly teamed up to look for senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng, who only had the cultivation of profound core realm. However, Xian Saixue thought that senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng was able to change the rules of the Tian continent's great meet of the academies, was able to win the first place in advance, and was not afraid of the crucible transformation cultivators from the Red Star Sword faction. At this time, the gray pet beast had already run out of the Heavenly Dao public square, and stopped in a deserted place. The next moment, Ning Cheng's figure appeared. This gray pet beast was none other than his gray Toot Toot. Ning Cheng knew that since the headmaster had told him to escape, it indicated that the situation was getting more and more serious. He did not dare to escape the Heavenly Dao public square by himself, and could only rely on gray Toot Toot to escape with his miniature world ring. If Grey Toot Toot ended up caught, then he would have to cut off all means of retreat and directly escape. Fortunately, Grey Toot Toot's level was too low, so even if some people discovered Grey Toot Toot, no one really paid any attention to it. After Ning Cheng came out, he immediately picked up Grey Toot Toot, and simultaneously stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, before disappearing into the distance. He did not immediately use Yin Kongchan's talisman. Towards this woman, he still had some doubts. However, Ning Cheng soon felt that something was wrong, as a spiritual consciousness locked onto him. Moreover, this spiritual consciousness was getting clearer and clearer. In other words, this person was getting closer and closer to him. Ning Cheng was greatly shocked in his heart. When he stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, his speed was definitely incomparably fast, yet this person was unexpectedly able to catch up with him. It could be seen that this person's cultivation was at least a sea-opening realm cultivator, or even a crucible transformation cultivator. If the other party was a crucible transformation cultivator, then even if he used a rank 7 talisman, he absolutely would not be able to escape from the other party's tracking. Besides, he would not have enough time to use it. Ning Cheng immediately gave up on the idea of using the talisman. As for the talisman given to him by the headmaster, not to mention that Ning Cheng had not carefully examined it to see if there was any problem with it. Even if he had examined it to see if there was any problem with it, he would not be able to stimulate it at this moment. The spiritual consciousness that was chasing him was getting closer and closer. Ning Cheng was sure that as long as he dared to delay for a few breaths, the other party would be able to stop him. Moreover, for him to stimulate a high-level talisman that he had not refined, it was definitely not something that could be achieved in a few breaths. The only thing that Ning Cheng could do at this moment was to crazily stimulate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. He did not even have the time to stimulate the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel. Under the crazy stimulation of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds by Ning Cheng, the spiritual consciousness that was getting clearer and clearer finally did not continue to approach him, but Ning Cheng also did not pull away from him. Twin wings of the heavenly clouds? Good kid, the secrets on your body are really not small. No wonder you were able to obtain the 9-colored profound stone, it turns out that you have such a treasure on you. A man wearing a mask spoke with a sneer. This man's body had now completely turned into a faintly discernible shadow, as he closely followed Ning Cheng. He did not use a flight-type magical weapon, he was very clear that with Ning Cheng's twin wings of the heavenly clouds, ordinary flight-type magical weapons would not be able to catch up to him. Moreover, the twin wings of the heavenly clouds were very flexible, it could change direction at any time, and then disappear without a trace. At this time, he was completely relying on his powerful true essence and spiritual consciousness to closely follow Ning Cheng. Although the twin wings of the heavenly clouds was powerful, but it could not last for long. Using the twin wings of the heavenly clouds also required a powerful true essence and spiritual consciousness. Once his true essence and spiritual consciousness could no longer hold on, it would immediately slow down. Therefore, this man was not afraid that Ning Cheng would be able to escape from his hands, he was confident that his spiritual consciousness and true essence were far stronger than Ning Cheng. But after 2 hours, this man felt that something was wrong. Even if Ning Cheng's true essence was more profound, it was not possible for it to be this powerful, right? Because even with his true essence, he was sure that if he continued for another hour, then his speed would definitely drop. Ning Cheng's speed not only did not decrease, but the twin wings of the heavenly clouds was even more frantic. At this time, Ning Cheng was even more grateful to Mu Ziming. If not for Mu Ziming giving him a bottle of essence birthing bamboo pith, he would have already been caught by this guy. He was also glad that he had tempered his powerful spiritual consciousness in the chaotic star space, it was because of this powerful spiritual consciousness that he was able to support himself until now. The heaven-defying effect of the essence birthing bamboo pith was undoubtedly revealed in this kind of situation, no matter how much true essence Ning Cheng consumed, as long as he drank a small mouthful, his true essence would be completely restored. After another hour, Ning Cheng finally put away the bottle of essence birthing bamboo pith, which he had already drunk a third of. He knew that he was safe, because the spiritual consciousness behind him was getting more and more blurry, before it finally disappeared. After the spiritual consciousness completely disappeared, Ning Cheng brought out the airship and flew for half a day, before he finally stopped on a desolate small slope. In any case, he had escaped from the dangerous whirlpool. Resting on the small slope for the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Ning Cheng made a simple plan for the things that he had to do in the future. He first had to look for the geocentric 9-yin essence, whether or not he found it, he had to leave the Tian continent, this dangerous place. At least before he had the strength to protect himself, he could not easily come back. Unfortunately, other than using the escape talisman from the bottom of the Blood River, there was no other way for him to return to the 9 continents. Even if he had enough power of hope, he would not be able to borrow the true Brahma Buddha fire to reincarnate. He had come to the Tian continent because of luck, in that kind of chaotic star space, he did not have any direction, as such who knew where the Buddha fire will would end up? Ning Cheng took out the talisman given to him by Yin Kong Chan and carefully looked at it, but did not find any problems with it. On this talisman, there was only his, Yin Kong Chan's and Su Yingdai's spiritual consciousness tag. But he did not know if he would be able to use this talisman to reach the predetermined place after escaping so far away. Regardless of whether he could reach it or not, Ning Cheng did not care about it. If he could not reach it, then it meant that he still had no fate with the geocentric 9-yin essence. Ning Cheng stimulated the escape talisman in his hands, causing the escape talisman to emit a burst of halos. The next moment these halos wrapped around Ning Cheng and teleported him away. How was this an escape marking talisman? This was simply a small transmission talisman. Ning Cheng suddenly felt his heart tighten, in case Yin Kong Chan plotted against him, and used this transmission talisman to teleport him to the predetermined place, then wouldn't he be delivering himself to her door? A burst of dizziness showed that Ning Cheng was undergoing a space shift, and in just a short period of time, Ning Cheng had already set his feet on the ground. When he saw the wilderness around him, his incomparably nervous heart finally calmed down a bit. Fortunately, Yin Kong Chan had not deceived him. When he found that there was not even a shadow of a person in the surrounding hundreds of miles, Ning Cheng's first reaction was that Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde should not have arrived yet. After all, the two of them were going to participate in the Academy's Soul Essence competition. However, Ning Cheng soon felt that something was different. The escape talisman in his hands still had 3 traces on it. These were the spiritual consciousness tags of the 3 people. In addition to his spiritual consciousness, Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde's spiritual consciousness tags were still fluctuating. Ning Cheng was an expert in refining talismans, although he had not refined any spiritual consciousness tags or escape talismans, but he knew that these fluctuations indicated that the distance between the 2 people and him was not very far. Chapter 301. Ning Cheng was just about to go over, when he felt a strong spatial fluctuation, and 2 shadows brushed past Ning Cheng's side and disappeared without a trace. At the same time, Yin Kong Chan sent out a spiritual sense message, "Hurry up and leave." Not waiting for Ning Cheng to move, a horrifying imposing aura swept over. Ning Cheng was greatly shocked in his heart. Without even thinking about it, he immediately stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, disappearing from where he stood. Bang! An explosion resounded, and the place where Ning Cheng was just standing a moment ago, turned into dust. Ning Cheng was shocked. This kind of powerful expert, he simply did not have any way to contend against it. This was at least a cultivator at the late stages of soul sculpting realm. At this time, Ning Cheng could no longer blame Yin Kong Chan, as he once again stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, and in just a short time caught up with Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde. Just when Ning Cheng wanted to surpass the 2 of them and continue to escape, Yin Kong Chan suddenly spoke up, "Take us with you, you won't be able to find this place by yourself." Although Ning Cheng hated Yin Kong Chan for bringing disaster to him, but he still had to listen to Yin Kong Chan's words. He raised his hand and grabbed Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde's back. The 2 of them knew what Ning Cheng wanted to do. Although they did not like Ning Cheng's rough actions, they did not resist. Ning Cheng carried Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde, and once again quickly stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, while the soul sculpting realm cultivator behind him disappeared without a trace. Previously, a fellow with a crucible transformation cultivation could not even catch up to him, but now that he was facing a soul sculpting realm cultivator, Ning Cheng obviously did not care about it. On a flat ground, Ning Cheng threw Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde down. Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde both seemed to be in a daze. They did not think that Ning Cheng would suddenly throw them down, causing them to suddenly stagger. If not for the 2 of them having powerful cultivations, perhaps they would have already fallen down. Ning Cheng thought that the 2 of them would ridicule him, but what Ning Cheng did not expect was that the 2 of them did not speak any nonsense. Yin Kong Chan still spoke up without any fear, "I know that you have the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, that's why I escaped in your direction. You don't need to explain, it is not the first time that I was cheated by someone. Initially, I had saved dozens of disciples from various academies, but in the end, I ended up being chased around as a devil cultivator. I was already used to this kind of thing. You can just lead the way. After we finish our cooperation, you can go your way, I will go my way, we will have nothing to do with each other." Ning Cheng waved his hand, stopping Yin Kong Chan's words. When Yin Kong Chan and Su Yingde heard Ning Cheng's words, they immediately knew that Ning Cheng was not talking about the matter of the ancient immortal cave. "Do you often save people?" Yin Kong Chan suddenly asked. Ning Cheng spoke in a flat voice, "Generally, when it is within my power, I will always lend a helping hand. Although there are many people who bite the hand that feeds them, they have also made a few good friends." Ning Cheng immediately thought of Liang Kersen, and then thought of Li Lingfan. Although he was not very familiar with Li Lingfan, but he believed that he was a friend worth making. There was also Tai Shu Shi, Yu Ying, Meng Jing Xiu and the others, all of them were friends that he had made after arriving at the Yixing mainland. When Jiang Jun killed Tan Yushan, you did not make a move because you did not have the ability, is that right? If Jiang Jun had killed your Dao companion, would you have done something? Yin Kongchan's words had always been calm and steady, but these words were obviously filled with a hint of sarcasm. It seems that even if she had cultivated her mind to a certain degree, but when Ning Qing casually threw her down a moment ago, it still made her feel a bit of injustice in her heart. Ning Qing coldly looked at Yin Kongchan and spoke, "I'm sorry, but I ended up hurting the weak heart of your lover. I really did see the process of that scum killing Tan Yushan, but it was too late for me to make a move. Even if I were to make a move, it would only make Jiang Jun kill one more person." You did not answer my second question. Yin Kongchan still calmly looked at Ning Qing. Ning Qing gave a disdainful smile and spoke, "I do not need to answer you, you can lead the way." Yin Kongchan unexpectedly nodded, as she brought out a best quality shuttle-type spiritual artifact, and simultaneously spoke, "I understand, get on my flight-type magical weapon, I'll take you there." Saying that, she deliberately looked at Ning Qing and spoke, "You said something wrong a moment ago, Jiang Jun is not my lover. I just appreciate him, he has something that is worth appreciating." Ning Cheng's eyes instantly flashed with an unquestionable killing intent, allowing Yin Kongchan to understand the meaning behind Ning Cheng's words. If someone dared to kill his Dao companion in front of him, even if he was not an opponent for that person, he would not hesitate to go all out. The reason why Ning Qing disdained to answer Yin Kongchan's question was because he felt that he and Yin Kongchan were not people from the same world. This world not only represented the environment that the two of them were born in, but it also represented that the two of them had completely different worldviews. Yin Kongchan was asking about his Dao companion, for Ning Qing, not to mention his Dao companion, even if it was a friend of his replaced in Tan Yushan's position, he would not hesitate to rush out and kill her. This was the difference in their worldviews. Ning Qing did not need to ask, he knew that Yin Kongchan was not someone who would do such a thing. Taking a step back, at that time, if Tan Yushan could hold on for a little longer, then Ning Qing would have definitely helped her, because at that time, he really wanted to help her. After Ning Qing and Su Yingde boarded the shuttle, Yin Kongchan brought the two of them to her room. Yin Kongchan's shuttle was very exquisite, with a pointed front and an oval back. There was only a single room inside the shuttle, even the control of the shuttle could be done from her room. From this, it could be seen that she had always been a loner. In other words, there were very few outsiders who could come up to her shuttle. Unlike Yin Kongchan's calm and tranquil appearance, her room was filled with a faint fragrance, moreover it was also decorated with incomparable elegance. Ning Qing smelled his hand in doubt, he could not feel any obvious fragrance coming from Yin Kongchan's body. However, her room actually had this kind of fragrance, which made Ning Qing somewhat vigilant. He was very wary of Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde. Jiang Jun was Yin Kongchan's friend, since Jiang Jun could poison Tan Yushan, then who knows if Yin Kongchan had the ability to do so. What if this fragrance was poison? Yin Kongchan spoke in a light voice, "Your left hand has the smell of Su Yingde, not mine. You grabbed me with your right hand, if you want to smell my body, then you should smell your right hand." Yin Kongchan being so meticulous, Ning Qing felt his old face turn red, it made him look like a rogue. He coughed, stood up and spoke, "I'm not used to staying in a woman's room, I'll go to the front of the shuttle and have a look." "Why does he want to smell your scent?" After Ning Qing walked out, Su Yingde suddenly looked at Yin Kongchan and asked a question. Yin Kongchan's face suddenly turned slightly red, "I don't know, I guess he should want to know more about me." Su Yingde thoughtfully looked at Yin Kongchan, and then looked at the room. Before she spoke, "Ning Qing is very careful, maybe he wants to know if the faint fragrance coming from your room is poisonous or not." Yin Kongchan's lies were exposed by Su Yingde, causing her slightly red face to revert back to normal. Ning Qing did not want to stay in the room and argue with these two women. These two women were very scheming, and now that they were together with him, each of them had their own ideas. Their scheming was as good as their appearance, they just wanted to get some benefits from him. The speed of the shuttle was very fast. Ning Cheng was a Tier 6 array formation Grand Master. As such, when he saw the array formation around the shuttle, he immediately knew that it was at least a Tier 6 defensive array formation. A disciple from a major academy was truly different. Ning Cheng did not care about the shuttle. He took out the jade box that was given to him by the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's headmaster Rui Baishan. Inside the jade box was an escape talisman. He intended to refine this talisman first. His cultivation was still low. If he wanted to quickly activate this high-level talisman, then he could only refine it first. But when Ning Cheng refined the talisman, he was immediately dumbfounded. This was not an escape talisman, but just an ordinary message talisman. Ning Cheng, when you refined my talisman, it showed that you were at least safe for now. Leaving an escape talisman for you is to let you leave earlier. You can understand what I mean. It is very good. An escape talisman can only protect you once. There will be countless dangers in the future, which you will need to face on your own. This is not something that an escape talisman can solve, so I did not give you an escape talisman. This old Rui really is a scammer. Fortunately, he did not count on his escape talisman. If he had counted on his escape talisman, then it would have been very miserable for him. The things that you can obtain is your own opportunity. Make good use of it. I have also been on the run before, so what I can give you is not an escape talisman, but rather some experience. First, in times of need, you cannot fully trust the friends around you. They may be the next ones to attack you. Second, in times of need, you must trust the friends around you. They are the only ones who can help you. Ning Cheng was stunned. Where did he get this kind of deceptive advice and experience? In the end, should he believe it, or should he not believe it? Third, at any time, you must have a guarantee of survival. At least you will not starve to death. Well, my experience is only these. In any case, you are a disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect. If you really have no other place to go, then go to the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect. Rui Baishan. Ning Cheng rubbed his head. What exactly was this old Rui talking about? These 3 points were simply nonsense. After he reached the essence building realm, he was already able to abstain from eating, not to mention now that he was about to reach the soul essence realm. Even if he did not eat for several years, his true essence would automatically circulate through the heavenly cycle. If he cultivated, then he would be able to absorb spiritual chi to circulate through the heavenly cycle. How could he starve to death? How could a profound core cultivator starve to death? This was simply the biggest joke in the world. As Ning Cheng thought of this, he suddenly paused. As long as he could circulate through the heavenly cycle. If he could not circulate through the heavenly cycle, and could not cultivate, then what would he do? Ning Cheng came from earth. He was very clear that cultivation was able to abstain from eating, because the true essence would automatically circulate through the heavenly cycle, which would replace the metabolism, and would also make the body even purer. Looking at the third point of the jade strip in his hands, Ning Cheng suddenly felt that this point was not as unreasonable as it seemed. In case he could not cultivate, he would also have to eat. Only then would he be able to save his life. Who knew if such a thing would happen? A few years ago when he was at the bottom of the Blood River, didn't he see a starving cultivator? At the bottom of the Blood River, at least he still had his true essence and spiritual consciousness, and in a few places, there was still a little bit of spiritual chi. In case these were all gone, then what should he do? Chapter 302. Ning Cheng was a person with a strong sense of crisis. As such, he had always been very careful when he was in Jiangzhou. Now that he realized this, he immediately began to refine the fasting pill. He even took into account the strength of the pill. He only refined the lowest grade of fasting pill, which could last for 3 days. After refining 200 or 300 of them, Ning Cheng thought that if he did not starve to death, then what would he do if he died of thirst? Then he began to refine the fresh water pill. A fresh water pill was the size of a longan, but it could gather a large bowl of water. Then what belt, what Mitsubishi thorn? When Ning Cheng refined a toothbrush, he suddenly patted his head. What was going on? His sense of crisis was a little too much. This Lao Rui's experience was like a psychopath. and he made him look like a psychopath too. Although he was a cultivator with such great magical power, but because of Rui Baishan's words, he ended up doing boring things for half a day. Ning Qing shook his head, and did not continue to do this kind of boring thing. Even the package that he had refined was thrown into his storage ring. This sense of crisis came and went quickly. You also know alchemy? Su Yingday's voice arrived. As Ning Qing saw Su Yingday coming over, Yin Kongchan also came over. The two of them did not need Ning Qing to invite them, as they also sat down in front of him. Don't you need to look after your shuttle? Ning Qing looked at Yin Kongchan and asked. Yin Kongchan spoke up in a calm voice, I have a puppet that can help me look after the shuttle. Don't worry, I won't waste any time. I also want to ask Su Yingday the question just now, are you also a pill master? I'm not an alchemist. The pills I concocted just now didn't even have a grade. The two of you must have seen it. I am studying alchemy diligently. Learning alchemy, do you understand? Ning Qing spoke with a smile. We're all working together for the same thing. I think we should discuss the reason honestly so that we can distribute the items better. Yin Kongchan did not entangle herself with Ning Cheng's question. She could see that Ning Cheng did not have much interest in chatting with her. Ning Qing did not care about it and spoke, sure, the two of you can speak first. Yin Kongchan also did not decline, I was born with an incomplete soul, so I need the geocentric 9 Yin essence. My grandmother's soul was injured and is unable to recover to this day. I am looking for her for my grandmother. Su Yingday also spoke out calmly. Ning Qing looked at the emptiness outside the shuttle and spoke in a slow voice, I promised a senior with an incomplete spiritual soul that I would help him find the geocentric 9 Yin essence, and then he would do me a favor. That senior has the highest cultivation, so I also need the most geocentric 9 Yin essence. If it's 100%, I'll need 60%, and you two can split the remaining 40%. If Su Yingday and Yin Kongchan did not agree to it, then he would slowly discuss it with the two of them, but he would need at least 50%. Contrary to Ning Cheng's expectations, as soon as Ning Qing stated his request, Yin Kongchan immediately spoke up, I agree, I originally wanted very little. Su Yingday also gave a faint smile, I also agree. Since the two of them were so easy to talk to, it made Ning Qing feel slightly better in his heart. Seemingly feeling that Ning Cheng's mood had improved a bit, Su Yingday suddenly asked, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, can you talk about what kind of help did you ask that senior with such a high cultivation? Perhaps after my grandmother's body recovers, she would be able to help you. Ning Qing glanced at the sincere Su Yingday, and spoke out in a very blunt manner, even if your grandmother's cultivation is restored, even if it was doubled, I'm afraid that there would still be no way for her to help me. Yin Kongchan looked at Ning Qing with some doubts, and added a sentence from the side, if I have not guessed wrong, then Su Yingday's grandmother's cultivation is far higher than the Heavenly Tao Academy's Tao Master Xiao Bisheng. Even if her cultivation was doubled, there would still be no way for her to help you. What exactly do you want to do? Ning Qing did not want to talk to these two women, but thinking about going home, his heart unexpectedly felt a little fiery, as he spoke with a slightly excited tone, I want to go home to have a look, other than that senior, no one else can help me. Seeing Ning Cheng's hopeful tone and resolute expression, Su Yingday opened her mouth, but did not continue to speak. She actually wanted to say that if her grandmother could not help Ning Cheng, then no one else would be able to help him. That senior who asked Ning Cheng for the geocentric 9 Yin essence, might just be a liar. However, thinking that Ning Cheng was definitely not that easy to deceive, she swallowed back the words she wanted to say. Yin Kongchan and Su Yingday could not find a topic to talk about, while Ning Cheng was looking forward to finding the geocentric 9 Yin essence, and then finding the heavenly cusp flower, perhaps he would be able to go back and have a look. Su Yingday once again broke the long silence, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, you will soon be able to condense your soul essence. I have a jade strip with me for condensing your soul essence, you can take it and have a look. You have already offended too many people, I suggest that when you condense your soul essence, you should change your appearance a little, it would save you a lot of trouble. Condensing my soul essence can change my appearance? Ning Cheng took the jade strip and asked in amazement. Yin Kongchan spoke from the side, of course, but the changes are very subtle, moreover you also need to have a specific cultivation method and mantra. I have it here. Seemingly not wanting to fall behind Su Yingde, Yin Kongchan also took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng did not reject it, and after putting away the 2 jade strips, he asked, according to what you said, wouldn't there be no ugly people? No wonder the 2 of you look so beautiful, it seems that both of you have undergone surgery. Su Yingde shook her head and spoke, my appearance is something that I was born with, and I have never thought of changing it. I also do not, I have this jade strip, but it does not mean that I want to do it. Yin Kongchan explained without hesitation. Su Yingde simply ignored Yin Kongchan and spoke, in fact, the appearance-changing jade strip is not something that is easy to obtain, moreover one's appearance is born from one's heart, that is to say, your appearance is fixed, even if you forcibly change it, after cultivating for a long time, it would slowly change back, but the process of change would be very subtle. Condensing your soul essence, there is a process where one's heart gives birth to their appearance. At this time, it is the easiest time to change one's appearance, so I suggest that when you condense your soul essence, you should slightly change your appearance. Ning Cheng was amazed in his heart, no wonder after all these years of cultivation, his appearance had changed slightly, and was getting closer and closer to his original appearance. It seems that Su Yingde was not speaking nonsense when she said that one's appearance was born from one's heart. In the future when he condensed his soul essence, if he could change his appearance once again, then when he went back in the future, it would not be too abrupt. Many thanks, these 2 jade strips are very useful to me. After Ning Cheng put away the jade strip, he thanked the 2 people for the first time. Ning Cheng was not willing to talk to the 2 of them, but the 2 of them were trying to please him, causing them to appear somewhat well-behaved. Su Yingde's purpose was very clear to Ning Cheng, she wanted to fall in love with him, but she could not even dream about it. As for Yin Kongchan, it was also the same, which made Ning Cheng somewhat puzzled. Regardless of whether he understood the meaning of the 2 people, Ning Cheng put aside the purpose of the 2 people, and began to boast about everything under the heavens. Su Yingde and Yin Kongchan were not people who were good at talking. If Ning Cheng did not want to talk, then the conversation between the 3 of them would simply not start. Now that Ning Cheng was speaking with confidence and composure, coupled with the 2 of them occasionally asking a question, the atmosphere was unexpectedly a bit warm. Although the earth could not be used for cultivation, but one could still obtain information from all over the heavens. Even if a small matter happened in the North Pole, in just a minute, perhaps this matter could be spread to the South Pole. In the Tian continent, although there were sound jade tablets, there were also sound-transmitting array formations and array formation screens, but compared to the era of electronic information explosion, it was still far from it. Yin Kongchan and Su Yingde originally wanted to gain a favorable impression from Ning Cheng, as such they deliberately came to talk to Ning Cheng, but when Ning Cheng really brought it up, the 2 of them were stunned. They had always been cultivating and cultivating, how could they have ever heard of these kinds of strange things? The flight-type magical weapon that you spoke of, does it really not require any spiritual power? Su Yingde asked in amazement. What I find strange is why a bikini can only be worn at the seaside, why can't I wear it at other places? Yin Kongchan was obviously more concerned about the bikini that Ning Cheng described. Ning Cheng looked at Yin Kongchan for a moment, before he suddenly nodded and spoke, with your figure, you can wear it at other places, when I have the time, I will help you refine a set. Later when you wear a bikini on the street, do not forget that it was me who helped you refine it. Many thanks. Yin Kongchan showed a faint smile for the first time. Even if she did not smile, she was already a peerless beauty under the heavens. But now that she smiled, it made Ning Cheng think of a line from a poem, looking back with a smile that could charm 100 people. He had not even looked back, but it was already so eye-catching. Ning Cheng shook his head, and suddenly did not want to continue speaking. Why did you shake your head? Yin Kongchan saw Ning Cheng looking at her, and then shaking his head, unexpectedly opened her mouth to ask. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile and spoke, I remembered 8 words. Yin Kongchan's smile had already converged, as she spoke with a light tone. I am a female cultivator, those 8 words of yours do not have any effect on me. Su Yingde suddenly spoke up, I don't think senior apprentice brother Ning was talking about those 8 words. Ning Qing did not continue to explain, he really was not thinking about the 8 words that were spoken on the battle ring, but rather the words you are a beauty, why do you have to be a thief? Do not look at Yin Kongchan's mouth. Ning Qing had always felt that she was coveting his twin wings of the heavenly clouds. If he said those words, then it would not have any meaning, at least they were still cooperating. The 3 people turned silent, and for half an incense stick worth of time, no one spoke. But at this time, the shuttle had already passed through a dark fog, and even one's spiritual consciousness could not be released very far. Ning Qing suddenly stood up and spoke, what's going on? Do not worry, this is the Hidden Mist Cemetery. After passing through the Hidden Mist Cemetery we will reach the place where the geocentric 9 Yin essence appears. Or rather, the geocentric 9 Yin essence is inside the Hidden Mist Cemetery. Yin Kongchan spoke in a light voice. Su Yingde also stood up, as she stared at Yin Kongchan. The Hidden Mist Cemetery is one of the most vicious forbidden areas, yet you unexpectedly did not say anything in advance before coming in. Yin Kongchan was still as calm as before, leading the way is my job, as for how to search for the geocentric 9 Yin essence, as well as how to obtain the geocentric 9 Yin essence after finding it, those are the matters of the 2 of you, I will not ask about it. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.